So I'm going to make this just a bit bigger. That's probably what I'll click on. How's it going, folks? I'm Navar and welcome to Blizzcon Online 2021. Haha. Anyways, joining me today is my good friend Denmar. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
So, I know I don't normally stream or really do a lot for Blizzard. It's always been a passion of mine. I haven't really done much with it since Overwatch back in like 2018, I think. 2019 was the last time I streamed Overwatch. I can't remember. But I'm super excited. I went to Blizzcon in 2019, and it was a great time. And, I've been dying to hear more about some of my favorite franchises. I mean, Blizzard, for all of its many faults, one thing that Blizzard can do really well is create a world that you just get drawn into, like the world of Warcraft, which is what I'm mainly here for today, because I don't expect to hear much on Overwatch or Diablo. So I think that today is going to be mainly like World of Warcraft and maybe some Hearthstone is probably going to be the big takeaways from this. What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get some more information about 9.1 and 9.2, honestly.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for is I would love to see 9.1, 9.2, and even maybe just a little bit of 9.3, like just a little tease of 9.3. But I think that's probably asking for a little too much.
New expansion.
New expansion, right? Technically 2021 would be the year, right? For BlizzCon WoW expansion announcement.
It would be nice. It's about a 2-year rotation-ish, so it makes sense if they do announce this next year.
Yeah. But so speaking of announcements and everything, then what are you hoping to hear from, or what are you hoping to hear come from the developers of WoW for this BlizzCon?
Probably my bucket list of things that I would love to hear about is the separation of some of the Covenant abilities with the Covenant themselves. As much fun as it is being tied to the Covenant, I would prefer to do a Covenant that might actually give me rewards I look forward to, such as transmog and things of that sort, instead of riding a very grisly, patched up bear for no reason.
I feel that. I'm like, for me, so I have one. It's kind of my impossible dream, and that would be some form of player housing. And I know that that's immediately going to get any ratings on this downvoted straight to heck, because everyone's going to be like, boo, garrisons. But first of all, garrisons were not player housing. It was close, but they were not player housing. And second of all, player housing would be a great addition. I mean, there's people who poo-poo on the battle pet system. I know that if you play WoW to raid, it's not going to probably be your main draw, but it is just something fun for the rest of us.
2 days of battling last weekend.
You did 2 days? Oh, did you do the super squirt leveling?
Yeah.
Nice.
Between that, and I apparently forgot that I didn't have a bunch of achievements from like Pandaria that I had to go back and get.
Huh. Interesting. I know I'm probably missing a ton of achievements from Pandaland, but Blizzard 3.0. So yeah, player housing is my big impossible wish. Oh, we have someone on the stage. And then I'm with you, Den. I want to see them remove the powers from the Covenants. Like, it's really frustrating to me. I have my Demon Hunter, who I loved the Armwield ability for. I thought it was a lot of fun. But I already have 3 characters in Armwield because it was the best Covenant for them. It was the only ability that was fun for them, at least in my opinion. So instead I took him to Venthyr, which doesn't have a bad ability, but it just doesn't feel fun to play.
Well, it kind of like my shaman that I made. Venthyr was one of the best covenants for both enhancement and restoration when I made my choice. And while the ability's neat, I like what it does, it also is not as satisfying as I would hope it would be. I actually, weirdly enough, I fell in love with the curing ability, the place down the totem that does the repeat stuff. If you're casting healing, it'll heal, burst heal. If you're casting an offensive, it'll burst.
Yeah.
I kind of fell in love with doing that one, but I don't know, I always wanted to do Night Faith because their armor made sense for a shaman.
Right.
The ability sucks.
Yeah. No, see, I got really lucky with my main because he's a paladin, so Kyrian just fit all three specs no matter what. But you know, it's like as a vengeance demon hunter, Kyrian would be better for me. But as a havoc demon hunter, it's Alliance, really? Yeah, we don't talk about the Alliance here. It's okay, I have Alliance too. We gotta talk about the faction pride, right? Because remember, we can't take the war out of World of Warcraft. That would just be ridiculous. That's one thing I really do miss about being at Blizzcon Live. It's all the amazing costumes.
I have not been yet. I still need to.
Oh yeah, it's a great time. If you know they do it this year and pandemic willing, I will definitely be there. Like, but once again, you know, that's a lot of ifs.
So. Yeah. Especially with the way everything's going so far.
Yeah.
Thousands of people all needing to work together, creating our universes.
Well, it's not like that. It's like, are they even going to plan one for this year with how things are?
Make a Blizzard game.
Yeah.
In 2020,
it would be worth them trying to plan one right now.
The magic of creating a Blizzard isn't just tied to a physical location. It's tied to the people who work here, and I continue to be so proud of each and every one of them. Thank you, Blizzard. We create these games and pour all of our energy and heart into them, but it is you, the Blizzard community, that brings them to life. And that's why Blizzcon Online is a celebration of you, the guild leaders, healers, DPS, tanks.
Not the DPS. No. Get out.
Zerg.
What? I want to main DPS. Why don't you let me main DPS?
The heroes of Sanctuary.
That's it. Rerolling mage.
No mage. No pure DPS specs.
Are for you. Our Blizzard community. For World of Warcraft, we'll be showing you what's next, both Shadowlands and Classic.
Oh, Shadowlands and Classic.
Burning
So-
and anticipation.
Oh Christ, Burning Crusade Classic.
Hearthstone,
We knew it was coming, but
major way.
Really? You don't want them to go back to Burning Crusade Classic?
it's not that I don't want them to. I'm fine with it. It just doesn't matter to me because I don't play Classic. Like you know, I did it all those. Diablo Immortal. Yeah, you know, I did Burning Crusade and I loved it. It was probably Wrath of the Lich King was actually probably the time I played the most. But I played a lot during Burning Crusade.
I was about to say, you and me did a lot of dungeons and raids in Burning Crusade.
Right, exactly. So, but I like I said, it's just rehashing the old expansions doesn't really matter to me. I honestly would have rather that Classic went its own way than just picking up, you know, the next expansion. Because, you know, okay, so what, a couple more years we're going to get Wrath of the Lich King Classic, and then, you know, I mean, do we stop at some point? at some point do we just go, well, no, we don't need any more classics because because no one's really all that interested in them, or are we going to just keep going until we catch up to BFA classic?
One last time.
Yeah.
Win times.
I don't know. To me, I guess if they still plan on keeping some of the servers around, it depends on how they do it. If they're planning on rolling all of Classic up with each expansion, or if they're going to keep servers for just Classic and just for Burning Crusade. I think that would be kind of neat to see something like that set up.
Yeah. Something tells me that's probably going to be what they do, because I'm sure there'd be a lot of people who just don't want to move on from vanilla or from Classic to Burning Crusade Classic. But then I mean, at that point, how small is the player base going to be in Burning Crusade Classic? And then when Wrath of the Lich King Classic comes out, how old school Blizzard Entertainment? Holy crap! Are we gonna see some Lost Vikings? What else? Rock and Roll Racing.
Did I even play this game? I don't know if I did.
The Lost Vikings! Nice. Oh, I loved it. Oh God, Blackthorn. I played that. I never knew that was a Blizzard game. All new features. Save states, nice.
Any of the old games that you actually can save is nice.
Right. Ooh. Together for the first time. Adam, really excited to see Lost Vikings again. I wasn't really big into Rock and Roll Racing, and I barely remember Blackthorn, so. But I mean, Lost Vikings. I'd probably pick this up just for Lost Vikings.
The Blizzard Arcade Collection, featuring the Lost
I don't know how much I would play any of them, so
Yeah, that's fair.
These are ports of the game, just as you remember, allowing you to relive the original experience, all 3 titles, in 13 different languages.
play in different languages.
With a couple of
That's always nice.
As an example, we include very modern, cutting-edge functionality. Wasn't available in the early 90s, both saving and loading games. And for those of you who purchased any Blizzard Digital Anniversary,
Pretty sure you could save and load games in the 90s. Legend of Zelda might want to have a talk with you guys.
on PC today. Now, will you hear about some other video games?
No.
Ooh, here we go.
Next, the World of Warcraft.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thanks
Hello?
today. No matter where you are, World of Warcraft, unite the
I was lost in the movie. Leave me
You're
alone.
exploring the Shadowlands, Classic Azeroth, or another part of the Blizzard universe. I'm glad you could make it, because we've got a lot of good stuff.
John Height.
But first, let's start with some Covenant Pride.
No.
Tyrion, take flight.
No.
Night Phase.
I have no attachment to the Covenants at all. I'm not even attached to my faction. I don't know how you expected me to get attached to the Covenants.
World is thrown a lot of
Right.
since the last BlizzCon. And the thing that's really kept everyone going on the WoW team has been connecting with all of you.
With all of you.
With our
Especially you.
family,
Right there. You.
WoW,
Yay,
powerful
special
family. WoW enters its 16th year, and Blizzard celebrates its 30th anniversary.
16 years. What have I done with my life?
Friendly
A lot of things.
the events in Azeroth. In WoW Classic, we fought an endless battle for South Shore and Torren Mill. We banded together to open the gates of Ank'Baraj. and join forces to take down Kel'Thuzad and his floating citadel of
I mean, someone did. I didn't.
Shadowlands. We helped our covenant recover from the Animate Drought, brought on by Sire Denathrius, master of the Vinthier, and traitor to the Pantheon of Death. We survived the halls of Torghast and crafted legendary gear in our efforts to expel Denathrius from his castle lair.
Hey, hooray.
Innocent souls are still wrongfully being sent to Maw. They face an eternity of torment, and heroes like Anduin remain chained in its steps. The jailer continues to grow in power.
Right.
He's preparing to break free from the Maw and complete his plan to unmake the entire Warcraft universe.
Which thankfully he waited until we got to this level to do.
She's been up to today. We're excited to unveil our first major content update for Shadowlands, Chains of Domination.
Chains of Domination. Oh, little lion come.
What makes you believe you're not just a weapon to achieve his ends?
Enough!
Uh-oh.
Join our cause, or be made to serve.
Right now, you hold all the power.
Yeah.
Make your choice, Sylvanas Windrunner.
Sylvanas Windrunner. This is
Like
like an actual
cinematic?
cinematic, maybe? Ooh. Exciting.
What if Denathrius is touching his weapon? The Primus is lost. Bastard cannot
Here's your
save
face.
his
None of this should have happened.
Perhaps the Winter Queen could.
My Archon
Yeah, Clea.
seeks an audience.
A mortal.
A king.
A king?
By all our
What?
measures, one who has spent his life striving for justice.
And
And
what?
what?
One who would give anything to serve his people. One whose heart is true.
I'm not buying it.
Very well.
This
This
is a trick.
You may approach.
This is not good.
There's
no
no
way.
way.
Step forward. My ascendant have spoken. The king held captive in the moor.
That prison could not hold me forever.
Why have you come to Bastion?
I have the key that I need.
Will
It's the-
release this soul from
Yeah, I knew it.
No. He is bound to me. Just as you sought to bind your own brother.
Oh,
Hi,
hi,
Arthas.
Arthas.
Fancy meeting you again.
Huh. Did he literally just kill the Archon?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, not really surprised with the Anduin reveal.
You know,
I would have liked for Sylvanas to have not been so mustache villain twirly, but
I know you probably have a lot of questions about what you just saw.
I just want to know more.
Next stage of Shadowlands 3. Later today, my teammates Ian and Jeremy will be telling you more about Chains
All right. And so that's going to be in what? And
Our upcoming World of Warcraft charity pet
40 minutes-ish?
from our community about how much they love these pets and the opportunity
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about the charity pet.
along with ideas to make the program even better. So during this upcoming campaign, you'll be able to donate whatever amount you wish directly to get another pet. Our chosen charity. Once donations
Yeah, but
Yeah, but then you have to level it up.
everyone playing World of Warcraft will get a pet in their collection as a thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
You were able to contribute personally or not. And to make this a fun challenge, if we reach a stretch goal, everyone gets a second pet too.
Nice.
First pet is Bananas. Literally. He was originally available
Bananas?
to select few back in Burning Crusade era. So we're excited to get
Wasn't he a TCG pet?
As we just said, Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
Also get Daisy the Sloth. She's an all-new pet.
Oh my god!
During this campaign, we'll go to support the medical humanitarian organization Doctors Without Borders, also known by their French name, Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF.
Huh.
They're an amazing group doing important work around the world.
Okay, but I'm not gonna lie. Those pets should be reversed. Like bananas should be the stretch goal, and the sloth should be the main charity pet because Banana's been in the game.
He's already a very hard pet to get since no one can get him. Classic
I'm pretty sure you can probably get them in the black market. Maybe I'm wrong.
hand off to my teammate, Holly Longdale. She's a longtime WoW player, veteran MMO developer, and she's
Well, since they're releasing a Burning Crusade pet, geez, I wonder if there's going to be a Burning Crusade announcement.
No, I mean, to be fair, I will play Classic if we go back to Burning Crusade.
Will you?
That's my favorite era. I mean, I love Lich King, but while most people view Classic with those really rose-tinted glasses as their highlighted era, for me it was TBC.
Yeah.
It was my highlighted era.
I get that.
As a dedicated MMO
And
fan,
honestly, I want to go back to the way Paladins were, especially as they fresh came out as a Blood Elf.
Oh.
My prop Paladin grind of just being able to pull like 50 Murlocs and watch them all die.
That was so beautiful. Getting the Skull Shield on my Paladin back then, and then just like, you put the shield spike on it, and you have Retribution Aura, so that way whenever you got hit, you took damage. And then,
I have to tell you, Azeroth was and still is a place I love to live.
okay, I thought they were going to start talking about Drizzt for some reason.
What?
I heard her say something about a Dark Elf Ranger.
Oh.
So, but yeah, and then just going ham and pulling as much crap as you can.
Right. I loved that style. And it's still the most amount of time I put in my Paladin was back in TBC.
Yeah.
I loved the prop Paladin back then.
When I jumped blindly through the dark
Yeah.
tunnel and was running
I really do wish that,
heard this terrifying noise. And then saw
yeah,
Bell Reaver.
I can do without the Fell Reaver PTSD, thanks.
Oh man, yeah. That stupid thing killed me so many times before I realized what he was.
Mm-hmm.
These stories and experiences we all share keep us coming back time after time. With that said, I'm super excited to be able to share with you where our adventures are taking us next.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
So surprised. Prepare, you are not prepared.
I'm still curious if they're going to do it in separate servers, or if they're going to just roll all classic servers over.
I can almost guarantee it's going to be separate. Like, it's probably going to be separate, and you can, like, copy a character over if you want. Or maybe just move a character over, but... New alliances. Right.
elves.
But they're going to twist it on their head and give high elves to the alliance, to the alliance, and drain out everyone to join the horde.
Careful about that. You might get some hate comments.
I don't know. People get their elves. I get my space goats. It's a win-win.
How much time did we spend in Kara? How much time?
God. You face not Malchazar alone, but the legions I command.
I'll turn your world upside down.
You know, that is a raid I wish I could have done back then, is the Eye.
Yeah, I never did do the eye either. It's like I skipped directly to the Dark Temple. Black Temple.
Yep. So 2021, huh?
Brings back so many
I
memories,
wonder when.
like exploring the fungal forests of Zangarmarsh.
Yeah, I never really cared for that.
Struck at the chaotic magic alive in Netherstorm. The
I
Drenai
have an echo. Oh, I know what's going on. Sorry, guys. I did not realize. One sec.
Do you choose to enlist the Aldor or the Scryers in your quest to fight the Legion? And of course,
Okay, that should have gotten rid of the echo. Let me know if it's
all
still
your
there.
friends to fight Illidan at the top of the Black Temple. I can't wait to relive it all with you. Since the team first set out on their own quest to bring the original WoW back to life, we have learned a
So,
ton about what players are
and
expecting
once
from this
again,
kind of experience.
like, it's
We also
cool.
learned
I'm happy to see it for people who are going to enjoy it.
and where we all might be open to some
I would have
changes.
preferred them
Bringing all these lessons
all good. Okay, thank
to
you.
Classic, with our primary goal to bring back
Turn the
same
volume up
feeling
on the
you
video
had
just a
when
smidge.
you
Yes.
faced the Fel Reaver for the first time, or when you were digging through piles of
Actually,
Felhound
here,
poop.
do this.
Of course, we can't get this right without
Oh,
you,
yeah, that
our
quest.
incredible community.
Right.
Soon, you'll be able to revisit Outland yourself when beta starts and tell us what you think.
Like I said,
Later,
I just would have rather have
all
seen
WoW
them.
Classic players are going to be
move.
presented with a meaningful choice for each one
Oh.
of your beloved characters.
Here you go.
Do you want to move on into Burning Crusade Classic? Or do you want to stay
There
in
you
the
go.
original
Yep.
Classic era?
See, that's what I
forever?
figured they were going to do.
Whatever you decide, you can do it all with your one WoW subscription. Now, I know I've thrown a lot at you, but don't worry.
Not really.
We'll be getting into the details in our panel later today. So stick with us. We'll make sure you are prepared.
Let the memes begin about
And
being
now
prepared
we're
again.
going to hear what's
Oh,
coming up
prepared.
in Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. Well, God. You know, I do really wish some of the stuff from Hearthstone would make it into WoW. Not all of it, obviously, but some of it.
I never really played a lot of Hearthstone. Like I played it when it first came out, but I haven't really kept up with it.
Right.
But first,
And
let's
now
take
I'm
a
at the
quick
point where I
look
think
back
if I
at
tried,
the
I'd
end
probably get
of the
annihilated.
Phoenix.
Yeah,
We added our
Hearthstone
first
is
new class,
not
the
a
Demon Hunter,
new player-friendly
to the
game.
ruthless Outlands.
Then
we went to Skullman's
Really,
Academy.
like, I
Let's
like things
explore
like
dual-class
the
craft
Skullman's
and the
Academy. Like, I know
powerful
it, you can't really do it in WoW
With our
because of
third
what
expansion of the
Skullman's
year,
is,
we brought you Hearthstone's
but
biggest update
something like
ever,
that would have been cool.
alongside
And
some
then
menacing old gods,
there's also
Madness,
the
Dark Moon
the
Fair.
mean streets of Gadget
We
Zan.
also
That's
brand
one
new
that I really wish
guilds
that they would
saw more than 10
pull into
million
WoW.
matches.
Like, make Gadget Zan this big city
We
with
also
these
introduced
warring
a
crime
long-awaited
syndicates.
achievement
And,
made a
you know,
significant
I mean, you could have
overhaul to the
rep with
rewards
each
of
one and, like, you know,
game.
kind of have an Alder Scryers thing where, like,
time to say
you
farewell
pledge to
to the
one
Year of the Phoenix.
and, you know,
See
the
what's
other
in
ones
store
hate you
for
and just
Hearthstone
all that
this
fun
year.
stuff.
I mean,
Welcome
I'm gonna put
to
this
the
out
end
here, and I'm probably gonna get a
of
lot
the
of hate
Griffin.
on your channel for it, but I'm gonna put this out here.
Over the last
I
couple of
liked
years,
Cataclysm
we've made
because
big
it did
changes
update
to
those
Throughout the Year of the Griffin,
original zones.
want
We
to
actually
keep
got to
delivering
see an update to the
fun,
world.
new
I would
experiences.
love for them
And
to
make sure
update the original
that
world.
the tens
Silver
of
Moon City,
millions of you
please,
playing Hearthstone
please,
are always
update Silver
excited
Moon
to
City.
log in.
That
Yeah.
poor thing
First up,
has been
giving the
destroyed
standard
for
format its
20
biggest
years.
shakeup ever.
You know, it's not even
With the
just that
launch
it's
of the
destroyed, it's
core
that it looks
later
bad.
this
Compared to all the
core
new
set
stuff,
replaces
it
the
looks
old
bad. And it's
version
supposed to be like one of the most
with a
beautiful
collection of
places
235
in the
cards
world.
made up of some of the
So,
best from throughout
yeah.
the years, as well as 29
Exactly. So
awesome
I feel
brand
that
new
they
cards.
kind of are.
And the best thing about the core set
They're
Isn't it
downgrading themselves a
entirely
little
free?
bit by not taking
So,
opportunities
there's
like that
never
to
been a
include
better
things like you
time
said,
to
Gadgetzan,
get
make it
into
something
Hearthstone.
big and awesome, and we can
Here
go
are
and
3 of
have
Hearthstone's
fun.
legendary dragons. Reimagined
Did he
to
just
feel more
say that
up-to-date
the entire
and
core
competitive
set of
modern-day
Hearthstone is going to be free?
Ysera the Dreamer. You'll finally receive her full arsenal of dream cards right away. She's a nightmare for your opponents.
She's a nightmare. I get it. That was hilarious.
Malagos the Spellweaver. He'll fill your hand with spells and is a powerful late game play, worthy of the aspect of magic. And finally, everyone's favorite black dragon, Deathwing. He's still as destructive as ever, but timed correctly, he won't leave you empty-handed. We'll also be launching a brand new format, Classic, where you can play
Classic?
Hearthstone as it was when it first launched.
What the hell?
The Classic format will be
Are we
fully
going to get
supported,
classic versions
complete
of
with
every
ranks
Blizzard
and
game now?
rewards using Hearthstone's
Things like that.
original set of cards.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
if you want to relive the old school experience, then Classic is the place for you. With Classic revisiting the past, now let's take a look to the future and explore the first expansion.
I mean,
the
I'm
year
not
of
against
the
it
Griffin.
because it would be much easier to play, you know, much cheaper too. But
Of the Horde.
Yeah, much
All
cheaper.
roads lead.
the crossroads, oh my god, no. You want to talk about time in the Burning Crusade?
But the Barons wants to break you. Your axe must be sharp. Your wits must be keen. And your heart must be mighty.
Seems to say pure. I don't know why.
Huh?
The heart being pure. I don't know why I thought he was gonna say that.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know that a pure heart really fits the Horde motif.
Oh, come on. Forsaken, pure. That is a thing.
That's true. Jesus, look at that Void Guard.
This is who we are.
Forged in the Barrens. I mean, cool. Not going to be enough to get me to play Hearthstone, but cool.
We're headed to one of Warcraft's most iconic locales, the Barrens, and we'll come face to face with the heroes that inhabit it. Starting with one of the Horde's most iconic and well-known characters, a fierce loyalist, one-time war chief that embodies the honor, loyalty, and spirituality of the Horde. Shadowhunter Vol'jin.
What?
Shadowhunter Vol'jin is a new
Vol'jin was a war
that
chief?
allows you to either bolster your own board or weaken that of your
Very
opponent.
briefly.
And to celebrate the announcement, Forged in the Barrens, this card
We've only
is
gone
available
through like
for
3 of
free
them. It's not a big deal.
for
Right.
everyone later today. So log into Hearthstone and claim your free copy of Shadowhunter Vol'jin.
Ooh. I'll bet you
And
after that
as a
cinematic
bonus,
with
We're also giving
with
away
all,
a brand new 30 years of
Anduin.
Blizzard card.
I don't know why I can remember his name. Bet you he
Next,
comes back
We have another
and he
hero of
becomes
the Horde,
king.
who is
So they have
making
to deal
his
with the
first
undead
appearance in
king.
Hearthstone.
Yeah.
The legendary Blade Master.
Oh.
Samuro, featuring
Oh, I just
new
realized
keyword,
something.
Frenzy.
So
Frenzy activates
before
for the first
before
time in
the
the game.
oh my god.
How's
Okay.
the vibe?
Okay. So
Samuro
before
Space can be
Shadowlands
used to clear
was
your opponent's
released, there were these
Heroes of the Horde, like Samuro,
trash
are
item
famous
or
for their
I don't know if they were
combat
trash
prowess.
items, but they were
But others,
books
like
that you
Thrall,
could pick
are known
up.
for their
They were
powerful elemental
pamphlets
magic.
from the Scarlet Crusade
Take a
or
look at
whatever's
this new Charlotte
left of
spell,
the Scarlet Crusade
Chain
currently. Rank 1.
Chain Lightning
Is
is
that
a spell in a new
callback
cycle
to
of
the spell
The
ranks
rank
back then?
become more powerful when you have 5 and 10 mana.
So yeah, the
Ensuring
Scarlet
that
Crusade was
always
releasing propaganda,
every stage
and a
of the
lot of
game.
it centered on Anduin, calling him
You'll
a
also
false
notice they're
king, no
categorized
friend to the
as
people of
nature
Lordaeron, all this crap, and
Forged in the
actually
Barrens
said
will be
he was in
permanently
league
introducing
with
spells
Sylvanas. And I
costing
think at one
fire
point they
games,
even
which
alluded
enables
or flat out said that
whole
him and
host of
Sylvanas were
exciting New
lovers.
strategies.
So
Don't worry, members of the Alliance.
what if
will be
now
featuring some of
they
your
move
most
the
beloved heroes and
they do
locales
have Anduin
later
come
this year.
back. because we know that the jailer is interested in Azeroth for some reason, so he comes back, and the Scarlet Crusade just capitalizes on that. This is your undead king, and
a brand new way to play with your favorite heroes.
I wonder.
Mercenaries.
Hearthstone Mercenaries?
Mercenaries features strategic RPG gameplay,
What?
where you build teams consisting of some of the most iconic heroes and villains from the Warcraft universe, including timeless characters like the infamous Sylvanas Windrunner and Ragnaros.
I love the baby Ragnaros all the way up. That's cute.
You can also expect to see some of Hearthstone's fan favorites, like the unstoppable Devilsaur, King Crush,
Oh, look at
and
him.
the ever-growing Gruul the Dragon Slayer.
Wow.
You'll lead them in battle through highly replayable roguelike missions, where the map is randomly generated every time you play, and each node represents a unique challenge for your team to take on.
Okay, this
Your
sounds
heroes gain
interesting to
levels,
me.
New abilities, equipment, and can even evolve into more powerful versions of themselves. We're thrilled to finally show you Hearthstone Mercenaries. It is scheduled to launch later this year, and we'll have more to share with you down the road. Everything you've seen today.
Speaking of which,
is just a
Den,
taste
did
of
you
what's
see
coming.
the new
So don't forget to
Romance
tune
of the
in to
Three
our deep dive
Kingdoms
panel after the
themes
opening
for
segment,
the
where we'll
for some of the
share more
Hearthstone
details
heroes?
on the core set, the new classic
Yeah,
format,
they had
Forged in the Barrens,
Lubu,
and
Garrosh,
our plans for Battlegrounds
Zugalion,
as well as our
Anduin,
upcoming single-player content.
Diao
We
Chan,
wanna thank the teams for their
Valeris
amazing
or
work. On
Verissa,
behalf of
not
all
Verissa,
us at
Valera,
Hearthstone, we want
and
to thank the many millions of you who play our game.
I'm forgetting one.
Your dedication and support
Oh,
is what
Guan
drives us
Yu,
to make awesome updates and pursue
wait, who is Guan
ambitious
Yu?
and fun ideas.
Uther. Jeez, I don't know why I couldn't think of Uther.
With all of you, and we hope to see you in the game soon.
I was like,
Next
it
up,
was one of
get
those
an
points
update
where,
on all things Diablo.
ooh, Diablo. It was one of those things where, like, I almost wanted to buy them, even though I don't play Hearthstone, just because of the ROTK connection.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining us. I am so excited to kick off the Diablo segment of our show, and I am honored to be here on behalf of all of our Diablo teams to share the news and updates we have in store for you today.
So you guys ready for some
We've
dank
got a lot
memes?
of Diablo to cover, and I hope you'll agree with me that it's a great time to be a member of this community.
Sure.
All right, let's
go with
kick things
Mimi.
off with Diablo 4. We first shared our game with you during Blizzcon of 2019.
Yes.
And we've been truly humbled by your response. We've kept in touch through quarterly updates and sincerely appreciate the thoughts and valuable feedback you've provided as we unveil more and more of the game and share in its development. After all, Diablo belongs to you as much as it belongs to us.
I don't know that that's true.
Most recently,
From just
Right.
a purely
an
legal
update
standpoint,
to
I
our
don't think that's
campfire
true.
game. And savvy fans, of course, understood that we meant more than just the character lighting and fire visual effects. That's right. Today, we're happy to announce a brave new soul joining the barbarian, the sorcerer, and the druid on this dangerous journey back to Sanctuary. A class is one of the most
would love
exciting
to see a
things you can
druid.
announce in a Diablo game. This one
Let's
is
see.
especially exciting to me, as it's a reinvention.
I actually do want to play this on my phone. Not gonna lie about that.
Ever appear in the series.
Oh, you want to play
Let's have a
Immortal?
look.
Yeah. So what do you think, Necromancer?
They've already done Necromancer for all of them.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
Crusader,
Necromancer.
Might be a
Oh,
Crusader type.
Yeah, look at this.
Churchy.
There is justice within the light,
I could see it.
but you have to be patient. Now, pray with me. May Akarat guide and protect me.
May Akarat guide and protect me.
May he shepherd my soul
May he shepherd my soul.
and grant it mercy.
And granted mercy.
What are you doing here?
Is it the
This
Demon
is
Hunter?
not the time.
Monk.
But this
Ah.
is confession. And I have sinned. I was a thief who stole from those more fortunate.
Could be an assassin.
Huh.
I strayed from your light and found my trade in the shadows. They call it murder. I say, job well done.
Being a little creepy, lady. Oh, ah, son of a... I like none of that. No, thank you.
The rending of his arm,
Yeah.
bicep off.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
A heretic. A murderer. Father. Will Akarat save me?
You mock our light. But those monsters were a scourge upon my flock. And you were the answer to their prayers.
Then we are settled. And you owe me.
The name you seek is... Thank the heavens for you.
Heavens. I assure you, Father. The heavens didn't send me.
Or rogue.
Nice. Has Diablo had a rogue before?
The first one, I don't think was it originally rogue?
I didn't think so. I don't know, I'll be honest,
Or
I
was
never
it
played the
called
first
Amazon?
Diablo. Or Diablo. Diablo. Yeah, well, I know
Yeah,
2,
can't
I think,
remember
had
if
an
it was called
Amazon.
Rogue or Amazon.
I don't know. Either way, I mean, it's cool. Yeah, Squee in chat is saying there was no rogue.
It must have been Amazon, I think.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
With Warrior. No, Diablo 1 was Warrior, Rogue, Sorcerer.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, it's a key. Oh. Buddy. No. No, I didn't want to see that.
I was looking up something. That's a lot of years.
He actually took one of the ears and hooked it.
Oh.
Like you saw the
The sound of that ear getting pierced by the hook is so brutal. I
Yeah.
feel like it's gonna haunt me for a long time.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I've been
I was
huge
wearing
fan
headphones.
Of the Rogue ever since the original Diablo.
Okay, yeah, so there
Even
was one.
Seeing them come back as
Squee, you lied to me.
mercenaries in Diablo 2's
I'm
Warrior,
bet-
Rogue, Sorcerer, Diablo
served
1.
as a great bridge
Diablo
between
2 is the one that introduced the Amazon,
with the
Barbarian,
setting of
Necromancer,
Diablo 4
Paladin,
being a
Sorceress.
larger world
Right.
And then
than
eventually
ever
would
played
introduce
before.
Assassin
We're
Druid.
excited to
Yeah.
show you not just what the successors to the original rogues in the series have been up to since the fall of their order, but also what some of the other rogues in the world of Sanctuary might look like. The mantra for Diablo 4 has been customization first, and the rogue takes this to a whole new level. From the beginning, the rogue
So-
has been an incredibly flexible class, able to adapt to any situation.
With all the
Our goal
customization
is
coming
to let
into
you
Diablo,
create
how
the
long
kind
do you
of
think it
rogue
is
that
before
you
we
wanna
get
play.
a World of
Whether
Sanctuary
it's an
MMO?
unrivaled archer modeled after the
I would
original
rather see a
Sisterhood,
universe
or
of
a cloak and
StarCraft.
dagger rogue from the
Would
dark
you?
alleys of
I
Chaldea.
would.
In Diablo 4,
I would
you
love
have
to
the
see
freedom
that.
to create
That's
the
fair.
rogue that you imagine by customizing the looks, the
But I mean,
background, and the
really,
playstyle
Diablo
of
is
your character.
pretty
Please stick around
MMO-ish
for our segment
anyways,
later
considering
today,
how much you can already
where
play
I'll
with
be
other
joined by
people
other
online.
members
Yeah.
of the Diablo 4
So,
team to share a closer
I don't
look
think
at the
I don't know
rogue
if we'll ever
class,
actually see
as well
an MMO
as
with
some of
World
the
of
open world
Sanctuary.
gameplay that we're
that's
bringing
fair.
to the game. Spoilers: those severed ears are not just for show.
Could they be?
But
Oh,
Diablo
immortal.
4 is not the only Diablo game we're talking about today. If you're looking for an authentic Diablo experience on mobile, we've got you covered. Diablo Immortal has everything you'd expect from a AAA action RPG. From the visceral combat and epic loot to an all-new story, bridging the gap between
Oh,
the
nice.
events of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Later today, you can join the Immortal team, where they'll talk about some of the things they've learned from their recent alpha test and what's next for the game. But that's still not all. We have one last bit of very exciting Diablo news to cover. When you hear us talk
The
about
Diablo
the classes, the items,
animated
or the
show,
stories
maybe?
of the early Diablo games, you may have picked up on the absolute reverent tone we reserve for that
Diablo
golden era of
remastered.
Classic.
Diablo Classic. Oh, Jesus.
And just hearing us talk about them makes you want to take on Mephisto or Baal one more time. Or maybe even for the first time. After all, some of our favorite moments happened a long time ago, and not just in Sanctuary years. If so, we have a special surprise for you today. Let's check it out.
Diablo 2 remastered. Or classic, I guess, if that's what we're going to rebrand these as now. Definitely don't want to call it Reforged.
No. It is Diablo 2.
Yep.
Man, I was hoping for original Diablo. Come on, let's go back to the original.
Right? You know, so weird as it sounds, I still want them to remake the original Warcraft and Warcraft 2. Like, I know Warcraft 3 is kind of special to everyone, but to me, I would like to see those games remastered, because I don't even think you can play them on computer anymore.
I don't know if you can. Yeah, it would be nice to see those remastered, and brought up to the more current state of like their storytelling.
Right.
Because that was something we kind of really missed with the original Warcraft, was really hardcore content that I remember. I don't remember a lot of story, but I was also a little kid. So.
Right. Well, I remember there was something weird about Medivh in the original Warcraft. Like, the original Warcraft game. Medivh was not at all what he is like now. So it would be nice to kind of like, but see, the thing is, like, I don't want them to go back and change the story. I just want to go back and play it and see, you know, like if they were
cow level,
cow level, but there is no cow level.
Oh, there is cow level.
I know.
Oh, they resurrected. Yes.
It had to have an R name in there somewhere if they weren't going to call it classic.
After
I
more
still
than
would have rather
20
see Diablo. Like, Diablo 2 is cool. I mean, that is the one that really defined Diablo and brought them up. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think retelling the original story that started all of Diablo would be better. But
That would have been interesting, because I never played the original Diablo, flat out. Just never touched it.
yeah, I mean, it didn't have that much story. I was once about that one. It didn't have that much story, but there was still enough of a story that at least understand what happened before Diablo 2.
Right.
Brings it into the present in 3D.
Like,
Because the whole events of Diablo 2 happened because of Diablo 1. So
what?
without
modernizing.
Huh?
No, I was just joking about, you know, the events of Diablo 2 happening because of Diablo 1.
I know. It's amazing series is working like that, right?
Right.
Preserving both the look
Blows
and
my
the
mind,
pacing
man.
of the original movies. Blizzard has a long history of games that we're proud of. And when we think about Diablo 2, we think about it as a definitive pillar in our foundation. Now,
Coming only to mobile phones, right?
some of you weren't even born when D2
I
was
mean,
released.
given the graphics and what they're
which
doing with
makes it
Immortal,
all
they
the
could
more
only bring it to
important that we
mobile
deliver
phones.
It's true, they
authentic
could.
experience wherever you play.
I don't think the architecture
We
would
want
work too well,
everyone
though. Like,
to
that would take a
relive their
lot.
Or experience the game for the very first time on their platform of choice. And so we're excited to bring Diablo 2 Resurrected to PC and console, along with cross progression.
Cross progression.
For those of you who are in love with the original,
I'm in love with the
and
original.
just wish it worked more seamlessly on modern computers,
Yes.
you can bring back all of that nostalgia exactly as you remember.
Oh my god, I love
Enjoy the game
nostalgia.
in its original 2D form, much like we did with StarCraft Remastered.
I'm glad they didn't say much like they
There's a
did
lot
with
to talk
Warcraft Reforged.
Later today, Diablo speedrunner Mr. Llama will host a roundtable with members of the development team on the dedicated Diablo channel. If you are a Diablo 2 fan, I encourage you to take a look.
I am a Diablo 2 fan.
From Diablo 2 Resurrected to Burning Crusade Classic.
Are you guys not even going to
the
mention
Blizzard Arcade
Overwatch?
Collection. It's a whole lot of looking back.
Wait, Overwatch is still
And
a
while we
thing?
have teams dedicated to bringing these timeless experiences into your hands, it's actually a very small percentage of our developers working on these projects. Far more people are working on the future of
Okay.
Blizzard.
I thought that they were trying to wrap up the
Talking
opening.
about during the show.
They just weren't going to touch on Overwatch at
Even
all.
more about our plans over the course of this year and beyond. If you had asked us 30 years ago what gaming would look like today, none of us could have predicted the current Blizzard lineup.
There
of
you go,
games.
right there.
That's as much as we're gonna get.
Technology are one thing,
So is this original,
but really what those
or what's
advances
that
have
original
enabled
Diablo?
It's even more incredible. If you think about the
Either
people
that or
who
two.
play games
Yeah,
and the
1 and 2
communities
looked
that have
pretty
grown up
similar
around
from my
them,
recollection.
way
The main
people
difference between
can
1 and
connect
2 is
instantly,
1, while
no
there was
matter
classes,
where they are in the world.
there was no
The
reason
way
to actually play
people
the
are
sorcerer
increasingly able
because
to
you
express
could learn
their
all the spells.
identity
They were all
and
dropped
Oh.
in books.
Really?
who they are.
Yeah.
through
So
their
you could
favorite
play a
games,
warrior and do everything that a
communities,
sorcerer could do.
and platforms.
In fact, one of
The
my friends,
explosion
Owen, proved
of
that to
things like
me and
streaming,
kicked my arse in Diablo
cosplay.
1 because of it. I was playing a
It
sorcerer
would
and he
have
was
been
playing
hard
a
to
warrior,
imagine
and
any
he got
of
all the
that
traits of the
30
warrior and
years
had all the spells of the sorcerer.
And at Blizzard,
Nice.
that
Never knew.
is what excites us
Mhm.
about the next 30 years. There is so much.
There can't be 30 more years.
Some of it you already
I
know
can't
about.
be doing this that
The
long.
rest,
You guys
we
need to
look
wrap
forward
it up.
talking to you about it.
You will be in a
When the time is
wheelchair
right.
still doing this.
I mean, I'm sure I will,
Just
but...
like the real world, the worlds of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft,
Wait,
Heroes of the Storm.
are they seriously not
Overwatch,
going to...
and Hearthstone,
They're not going to say
Diverse,
anything about
expansive,
Overwatch.
and full of
Overwatch
potential.
still exists?
We are not only iterating
I don't know. Maybe not.
experiences that
Are
you
they trying to sweep it under the rug?
We're also exploring different ways to express our worlds and welcome more players from more places into them. And we aspire to continue to lead on priorities like accessibility and toxicity control, and to continue supporting causes that have a positive impact on the real world. We want to continue to bring those same feelings of joy and achievement that we all felt
Brack,
when we first defeated
Overwatch?
the Lich King.
buddy.
Will be Diablo on hardcore mode.
Yeah,
This
no.
was 8 minutes, right?
Because when we geek out on those experiences with others, we can't help but see
I
the
guess.
similarities between us and feel what's possible when we play together. Of course, there are new Blizzard worlds that we
Yes.
haven't visited
Yes.
quite yet.
Please.
And when
Universal
we do finally
StarCraft.
unveil those
Universal
games
StarCraft.
and experiences, our hope is that you will see in them what we do.
Uh-huh.
That no matter who you are or where you're from, they are spaces where you can create new stories, forge new friendships, and make memories worthy of lasting a lifetime. And through it all, our mission statement of being dedicated to creating the most epic entertainment experiences ever, along with our core values, led by
Ooh.
gameplay first.
I don't know if you really
Continue
want to
to
be
guide
bringing
our
those up, buddy.
behalf of
That's...
everyone at Blizzard, thank you for being on this journey. For me personally, it is the honor
We won't
of
talk
my
about that. Sweep it
professional
under the
life
rug, just like
to serve
Overwatch.
you,
Right.
and the honor of all of us at Blizzard to be the caretakers of the worlds that you play in. We are so excited for what's to come this year, next year, and the next 30 years. Now, what's coming next for the show? Well, it depends on where
Overwatch?
you watch.
No. Where you
For
watch?
those of
Over?
you looking
Watch?
for an update on
Overwatch?
check out
Just
the
mentioned it.
behind-the-scenes look into the development
Oh my
of
god.
Overwatch 2 over on their dedicated channel right after the conclusion of opening ceremonies. There, you'll hear
Overwatch
about
2?
Overwatch 2, new content,
Wait, but
new
it-
features,
It says
including new maps,
the
hero
Overwatch
missions,
behind the scenes doesn't
talent
start
trees,
for another
or
hour.
what we think will make Overwatch 2 a unique gameplay experience. For World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Hearthstone, you'll get a closer look on their respective channels. And on the dedicated strategy channel, some StarCraft legends will be going head-to-head in epic competition. Once again, welcome to Blizzcon Online, Be good to one another. Welcome home. Before we kick things off, here's a little something from a previous BlizzCon headliner.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're Metallica. Thanks for having us
Metallica?
at BlizzCon 2014. We would love to be there this year, but obviously can't be. So here we are, and this is for you.
Wow.
If the lead guy was saying anything, I couldn't hear it.
I think he was just pretending to shout like he would at a concert. You know, the okay, get the crowd pumping sort of thing.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn this down just until the World of Warcraft, what's next panel. All right, so what did you think, Den? What do you take away from all this?
Oh, I gotta turn it down too. As
Right.
much as I'm enjoying the song.
Right, it's like, it's good, just loud.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a good start. I'm seeing some things I definitely like. I mean, I know I'm personally looking forward to Immortal, just because, you know, I've been wanting a Diablo platform on the go anyways. I do spend a lot of time traveling, so it'd be nice to have that. I was hoping for a little bit more from World of Warcraft, other than BBC Classic stuff.
Yeah.
So, and very, very mention of get into the spirit of your faction or your covenant. So it tells me that they're probably not going to do my bucket list, but I guess we'll have to see and find out. And of course, Overwatch is underneath the rug where it belongs.
Right? I'm like, man, I figured they would have at least like did a blurb like, hey, look, remember all this stuff we announced about Overwatch 2 in BlizzCon 2019? Well, it's still happening, maybe, we don't know. No one's seen Jeff Kaplan in months.
I mean, don't look outside in the backyard. That's bad.
Right? So, yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about WoW. Oh, there's actual lyrics. Huh,
Yep.
okay.
The song starts off with very much instruments in the middle. One of my favorite songs, by the way.
I've never heard it.
Kind of jazz.
Yeah. I never really listened to a lot of Metallica, so.
Oh, that's right. It was a high school favorite of mine.
But yeah, like I mean, obviously we didn't get much from the cinematic other than Zoval has possessed Anduin and what that might imply for everything. But yeah, like I don't know, that's not enough of a hook for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was kind of obvious that that's where they were going anyways. Like I said, yeah. I was hopeful that Sylvanas would pull a hat trick.
I mean, when you look at her facial features and what she was looking at during the cinematic, she is still. Anduin words have struck her. You can look at her when you're looking at her facial features. She was mulling it over.
Right.
Even in the last cinematic, that when they're standing there, all three of them together, she still. The very brief thing that came upon her, she still had not like before. She had a very "this is what I want" kind of look and attitude, and the way she was doing it.
Right.
I didn't get that from the cinematic. She's waffling on her decisions, and while she's still going through with them, obviously, because Anduin stabbed for
Archon.
Kyrians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. He still went through with it, but he's not gone. It looks like he's obviously a lich because he has the blue eyes now. But
he's Arthas 2.0. I mean, literally, you put Arthas next to him, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, but he at least looks like he still has control, because it looks like he regained control for a brief moment before being retook over.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how that's going to go. I mean, unfortunately, that means Boy Wonder just got taken out of the equation, which I'm not going to lie, I kind of like Boy Wonder just because he has been that shining beacon from the very beginning and been awesome. And I really don't want to lose him like that. Like,
Yeah,
so
it's true.
I don't know. Kind of torn on that one.
My question out of this is, did Sylvanas do this? Or did Sylvanas waver and the jailer took matters into his own hand?
Because he obviously wasn't doing this on his own.
Right.
Once again, he snapped out of that, so that does beg into that question. Was this something Sylvanas did?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I guess we'll have to wait to find out. And then the other question, out of all the rock and roll racing, oh my god.
The Vikings inside of it.
I love it. Wow, they just really had to go with everything in this, huh? Apparently that song was in Zombieland, and I just, haven't seen Zombieland since it came out in theaters, so you'll have to excuse me.
Yeah, it was one of the very intro when it's all like slowly happening.
Yeah.
That the song is playing.
That's
all happening.
I'm sure it is. Like I said, I haven't seen Zombieland.
Go watch Zombieland out here. Go.
What? But I got. Oh, why is he wearing a diaper?
We don't ask those questions.
What can I do for you?
That is Diablo 1. Jesus.
The Lost Vikings 2. Just yeet the thing.
Oh, jeez.
Morta Vespa Gaia Inu.
Diablo. Okay.
Okay, back to Warcraft.
Warcraft 3. Whoa. World of Warcraft. How crazy. I love it.
Chibi Lich King.
Your time.
All right, while we're on the topic, Godzilla versus Kong, who wins?
Godzilla.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I didn't want to have to boot you from the stream, but I would have immediately.
I'm not surprised. Back to StarCraft. Did he turn Super Saiyan?
Yes. Yes, he did. Oh, look. Diablo 3. A little smile in the Soul Stone.
Strange.
Greetings to you. Seems you're ready for the real thing.
Why was Uther a Christmas tree?
Not really sure. I think he blew up the Christmas tree.
Ah, Heroes of the Storm.
I like how Overwatch just thrown in randomly.
Oh, looks like we got an audience.
I'm getting good at this. I'm in the groove.
Turret online.
The car wash. Oh my god. Oh, I miss those strats. Alright. That was good times.
It's actually a cute little anime.
Right? Alright. Gotta make sure I hop over to the World of Warcraft channel. because, you know, not really interested. I mean, I'm interested, but I'm not as interested in the rest of it as I am in what's going to be said about this, because 9.1. Oh, you know, one thing I forgot to mention on my bucket list is flying. I want flying in 9.1.
Oh, and what requirements are going to come with flying? Like, normally we have the factions ones, but which factions are they going to require this time?
Right.
Because if they're going to require that stupid person in the mall, I'm going to be mad. Not going to lie.
Welcome everyone to our deep dive panel for WoW Classic.
Wait, what?
I'd like to start with some introductions with these fine gentlemen with me and myself. I'm Holly Longdale. I'm the principal producer for WoW Classic.
Okay, so right now they're supposed to be doing the WoW What's Next panel,
and eventually became the head of.
And instead they're doing the deep dive.
That said, I've always been a WoW player since
What
beta.
is
So this is obviously a dream come true for me, and I'm
the
thrilled to be
dealio here?
I'm Patrick Dawson.
Did the schedule get changed?
Warcraft.
Or it could just be the fact of World of Warcraft.
And have been on WoW for most of that time.
Could just be
I'm a
World
WoW
of
player
Warcraft Classic.
myself,
What's next?
And really excited to open up that dark portal again as we all step.
Well, no, because the World of Warcraft deep dive is set for 4:35.
I spent about 3 years on Hearthstone as well, and then came back to the World of Warcraft team to work on WoW Classic, and it has been a great joy to me to work on this team.
There's a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
So earlier,
Very
we
confuzzled.
announced, yay, Burning Crusade Classic is coming. But there's a lot more to it. Let's take a look at the features, because wow. I mean, wow, right?
Wow.
I
Wow.
was so excited
Wow.
by playing Draenei and Blood
Yes,
Elves. I played
wow.
both, and I will say my heart's with Alliance.
Alliance. Blah.
And I also took up jewel crafting on my Draenei Shaman. I wanted to corner the market. Just the whole notion of having items with sockets and just exploring that whole system. I'm also a bit of a systems nerd. So I completely lost my time for weeks in there.
The Burning Crusade, I remember.
I guess
being there
this
back
is
then.
just
I mean,
it.
Our first expansion ever. So all the new features was like this really cool moment of like.
I don't
what's
care.
coming next, what's gonna happen.
It's the Burning Crusade, guys. If you've been on the internet within the last 10 years, you can look up anything you want to about the Burning Crusade. I promise you.
Shaman, I was Alliance back then. And
There's
just
not
understanding that class at all because my team didn't have it. So like I try to poly them and then be like grounding totem. I didn't know what that was. And it's just like, why are Shaman immune to everything? I don't understand.
That's not what you said.
Yeah, no, but no, I did.
No, you said they're cheating.
They're cheating. Oh, that's so true.
Polymorph druids, but Shaman, why? Like now I started to understand Shaman a little bit better. We got some of the benefits. You know, I actually like got to see totems being placed down on my side for once, and got to see the frustration of dealing with Bubble Hearth on the other.
All right, I'm just gonna actually mute this for now because I don't care about the Burning Crusade Classic. It's awesome. I'm glad that it's there for the people who are going to take advantage of it. I played through Burning Crusade. I don't know that I ever want to do it again. I definitely don't want to unlock heroic dungeons again.
Oh yeah, get all those keystones and stuff.
Right. Just flat out the keys, and then like having to go and get the keys to Karazhan and like Black Morass and all these places. I did it. I'm good. So I'm going to hold off on this for now until they go on to whatever's happening in the Shadowlands. But what I was going to say is that the flying thing, I can't remember if it was Ian or someone else, but someone said something in an interview about reputations not being required for flying this time around, and it was actually just going to be having completed the Covenant campaign. It might not have been the Covenant campaign. It might have been just like the Shadowlands campaign. So
that'd be an interesting way of doing it. I mean, really, that's kind of what it comes down to: is have you actually played our game?
Right. Exactly. You know, the important stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd much prefer that. Hopefully they get off their Burning Crusade kick here quick, because, ugh. I mean, I can't say black, but like I said, I don't know why we're going into a deep dive of the Burning Crusade. We know what the Burning Crusade is, unless they're going to go into like the technical talks of how they had to restore Burning, or, you know, recreate old Burning Crusade servers, but meh.
Yeah. I mean, that's like you said, if you want to know anything about Burning Crusade, go to the internet. It's
right.
there.
And that's, you know, so while we're on the subject, that is actually why I think that this is a big missed opportunity for Blizzard and for the classic fans, is we've done this. This isn't new content. It might be new for some people. I won't lie. Like, there might be some people who really do want to go and experience Burning Crusade as it was back in those days. But when it really comes down to it, I feel that the classic community would have been done better by making new content in the vein of classic. Like, one of the things that I hear most classic, like, one of the reasons why most people went back to classic is flying mounts. They don't like that flying was added to the game. Well, Burning Crusade's adding flying back into the game. I can guarantee it. So,
100%. That's when it was introduced into the game.
Exactly. So, you know, why not have created a new vision of the Burning Crusade? Like, or, you know, I mean, of Outlands in general. Why not have created Burning Crusade, or recreated Burning Crusade, but with the same design philosophies that they had in Classic? Because I think that would have been much more interesting, especially, like, you know, if they kind of juked to the story a little, or even added in some of the stuff. Because, you know, like, when you played Burning Crusade, there was nothing that redeemed Kael'thas. He was just an arrogant prick. So, you know, why deal with it? Right. And then Illidan, like, he was just there, and you never saw him until Black Temple, and then you go and kill him. But then you read the Illidan book, and it's like there was all this stuff going on, and how Illidan was trying to stave off the Burning Legion, but we never saw any of that. So that could have been a really interesting thing that they could have added in to the Burning Crusade, like, kind of reforged, I guess, rather than just giving us Burning Crusade Classic. And like I said, where are we going to draw the line on the Classic servers? Because eventually there's only going to be so many people who are going to filter up. You know, not everyone is going to want to go from Classic to Burning Crusade, or, you know, there's the opposite problem, and too many people make the jump from Classic to Crusade, and there's just no player base, or not enough of a player base for all of them.
What I think you're going to see have happen, in my personal view, on this whole matter, is you're going to see the Classic server, because people went to Classic because it was Classic.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see the huge move of people to TBC that you saw at the Classic.
Right.
Because the people who are playing Classic currently want to stay in Classic. It's where they're happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. I think there will be people that will transition, but I think the majority of the people are going to stay in Classic because they're happy there.
Right. So you're going to have a Burning Crusade Classic with a very small population, and then it's going to move on to Wrath of the Lich King Classic, which, once again, then do the Burning Crusade players move on, or do they want to stay happily in Burning Crusade? If they do move on, then what happens about the player base in Burning Crusade? Like, at what point do they just go, okay, well, we're going to have to shut down these servers because there's just not enough player demand for us to keep them running?
What you'll probably see is them reduce it down to probably about one server, because back then, you know, they didn't have the inclusion of all the different servers. So they'll probably have a PvP and a PvE server, and that's probably what you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
Is if it gets that populated, like a lot of other MMOs do, where they just start shutting down servers, and eventually it's just going to come down to you're just going to keep getting server moved.
Right.
Or server migrated, I suppose is the better word.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, they didn't mention anything about player housing, so I'm pretty much checked out for the rest of BlizzCon Online. Not really, but
Yeah, I still I would love to hear about player housing. Not gonna lie about that. That would be amazing to finally hear something other
Right.
than garrisons. Could burn those things to the ground.
no, I like my
housing.
garrison. Yeah, it's just you can't
Yeah, player
confuse them.
housing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You cannot confuse garrisons with player housing. They're not even close to the same thing. I like my garrison. I actually, all of my alts, I level through Warlords of Draenor, just that way they can have their garrison. But
See, I
Those things
hated
work together.
garrisons
We
on
can
the
bring
Horde
that up
side. I love
internally and
garrisons
take a
on the
look at it
Alliance
and say,
side.
okay,
The
this is
Alliance
how
side
it
garrisons
was
are
back then.
pretty
This isn't-
amazing. They can fit almost any of the races. The Horde one, unless I'm playing an Orc, it sucks.
yeah,
Like, there's no nice aesthetic from my Blood Elf or my Tauren or whatever else I may play. I mean, obviously, there's races out now that we can't go back and redo, but I always felt that was missing. It always felt like Horde has always been this Orc-driven faction with Orc aesthetic, spikiness of death.
Well-
instead of
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
good. Oh, just and it's that idea that I like. If they wanted this to be more player housing, they should have given us the chance to say, "I'm a Blood Elf. Give me a Blood Elf housing,
Right.
or Blood Elf garrison."
So, don't get me wrong. I think that the Alliance garrison is leaps and bounds better than the Horde garrison. First of all, Shadow Moon Valley is just like the penultimate garrison location.
pretty.
Right. Like that's probably where I would have chosen my garrison to be if I had been able to move it. But, you know, honestly, the Alliance players suffer from the same thing because the garrison that you get is very human. It's basically a little slice of Stormwind. And, you know, that might be okay for like humans and dwarves and maybe even gnomes. But then you get to like the Draenei and the Night Elves who have a very different aesthetic. So, you know,
They do. True, they do, but I don't know. I still feel like it can still function with them a little bit better than it can with the other races in the Horde. Because in the Horde, we're so different in one race to another.
That's true. There is not a whole lot of common ground. Whoa, why is he naked? What the heck? Why did they just show me a naked blood elf? I had my volume turned off, so I don't know what happened there.
I wasn't following the conversation.
Right? I'm like, am I gonna get demonetized now?
I mean, it was censored, so
Only in my high school.
he did have his Wuhang
You can see,
censored.
if you look at his calves, you can see that he's got the
The
flared
boots.
out because he thinks
Yeah.
he's wearing boots. And the way this system works is we first set the geometry up for all the items that you're supposed to be wearing, and then we layer on various images that we call textures, and we use those to build up a single composite texture that's then wrapped around the geometry. But of course, in this case, when we were layering them on, none of the textures were assigned, so it just started with his naked body, and then was going to go layer on textures and didn't find any. So it thinks he's dressed, and so it's removed the underwear because it thinks it's put clothes on top, but there aren't anything there. They're all just
Huh.
completely transparent.
That's what they're
Okay.
showing.
It's almost like
because
the
the
Emperor's New-
boots.
Yeah.
You still see the flare.
Yep. Yeah, I turned it on just to see if I could get some context there.
Yeah, it was because I guess the layering wasn't working. So if you look at his calves, you'll see the big flare of the boots.
Mm-hmm. Oh, space goats. Coast to coast.
So pretty.
Right. I'm like, back then it was the only reason I even wanted to consider playing an alliance was just for the Draenei. I didn't, but I considered it. But there was no way in hell I was leveling up a
I got into
Draenei back
Alliance
then.
until Lich King. I don't think I really got into Alliance until Lich King.
Oh man, when I think my first alliance character was Cataclysm. I made a Worgen. That was my first alliance character. Well, actually, you know, I guess that's not true. My very first character ever was a human rogue that I created on a friend's account before I started playing. And
You're right. Actually, my first character I played through. Remember, you actually drugged me to the Horde.
Yeah,
I
that's
originally
right.
was Alliance.
That's right.
I was on a PvP server Alliance because I was in Virginia doing some work, and I ended up starting the game while I was there with a friend on his server, which is a RP PvP server. And I started a Night Elf Rogue, got all the way to like think 20 or 30-ish, somewhere in there. And then I came back home, and you realized I was playing WoW, and you convinced me to come join you on the Horde server.
Best decision you ever made.
Other than the Hunter decision, yes. The Pew Pew Hunter was not working with me when I first came over, so I ended up leveling a Druid and a Warrior way too close together for the longest time. I probably would have actually dinged 60 a lot sooner if I wouldn't have been trying to double focus on Warrior Druid.
Right. I know. And see, this just comes back to my biggest problem with Classic, is that we're never going to see anything new, which I guess, for the people who enjoy Classic, that's probably a good thing. But and I'm not excited about this. I am excited to hear more about 9.1 and Chains of Domination, but
and I guess I'm coming from a different point of view. I'm excited about this one, but that's because I enjoyed the systems that were in place back then. Some of them, not all of them.
Right.
Some of them were just broken. It was like what you were talking about earlier with the prop paladin. Go back to that nostalgia feel of the prop paladin and just feel overpowered, overtuned, amazing, pulling 30 murlocs around you and just watching them all die as they hit you.
Right.
That's what I want to. I want to have that feeling again. Will I stick with Classic Burning Crusade? Probably not. Just because I probably won't have a lot of people on there to play with, but it's something I do want to go back and kind of re-get the feeling of it and feel that feeling again. I could see that out of all the classics, of all the expansions, I think Burning Crusade and Lich King, if those were two, I would probably try to play those.
So, funny enough, and I will probably hear nothing but hate for saying this, but in my opinion, if I was going to go back and actually play through a Classic server, it would be Classic Pandaria.
I wouldn't hate you for that one, actually. I wouldn't. I enjoyed Pandaria. I enjoyed the beginning parts of Pandaria, but I loved the actual expansion. The later introduction in mid and at the very end of the expansion, I enjoyed it.
Right. Yeah. See, for me, it's did the stream get paused? Yeah. Oh, okay. Apparently I minimized it for a second and it didn't like that. Yeah, see, for me, I think that the classes were at their best in Pandaria. I know there was a little too much homogenization, the fact that all classes had a Blessing of Kings pretty much was a little odd, but I have never had as much fun playing my classes and all of my classes as I did during Pandaria. I even enjoyed playing my Rogue, which I never, ever, ever enjoy Rogue.
The last time you enjoyed Rogue was TBC and Lich King.
Right. No, it was Pandaria.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
The last time I remember you doing it was way back then.
Yeah, no,
I
because
don't remember you playing your Rogue too much in Pandaria.
Well, see, even in TBC, I didn't really get to play my Rogue because I had to level my Paladin up, and then my Paladin was needed for healing, for raid healing.
Yep.
So almost everything that I did, I eventually leveled up my Rogue, but everything was pretty much done on my Paladin, and then that carried over to Wrath of the Lich King, and then.
That's not true. We did a lot of PvP on your Rogue. We did a lot of arenas.
I actually did more arenas on my Paladin.
Did you?
Yeah.
I remember us doing them, or maybe I was doing more on your Rogue than you were.
Maybe. The most I did with my Rogue in TBC was what was it? The Arcatraz, I think. The chest farming you could do in there. You could just go in, there was a specific chest or two chests that you could go in, get, and then you could reset the instance. And then from there, you could just keep doing that. And the chest back then used to have a ton of gold, so it was really cool. Tristan on YouTube asked, so in our opinion, is WoW more playable now? Den, what do you think?
So I guess what I would like to do is, what are you referring to by more playable? Are you talking about DBC, Pandaria, like the classic? It's definitely more playable in my point of view. I played classic. I didn't enjoy classic as much. I thought that getting into any of the classes was hard. Let's look at Warlock and all the soul.
Having to farm soul shards. I forgot about that.
Like I was one of those guys that I went to classic, was like, oh, I really want to play Warlock, get one of those free mounts, cool. And then I realized the soul shard farm you have to do to get all this stuff. For those who don't know, soul shard farming was you only could get soul shards from anything you were draining their essence from, and it could only be something that would give you experience. So you couldn't go to like noob zones and just drain essence and collect soul shards. You had to kill stuff that was around your level. So I think it's what, plus or minus 4 or 5.
Really?
Give or take.
I thought in classic you could get them off of low level crap.
I don't think so.
I
could be wrong.
I'll be honest. I only remember the soul shard farming like anecdotally because of our friend who was in our guild who mained a warlock. So I thought it was much simpler. Tristan says he left in Miss of Pandaria and was so sick of Siege of Orgrimmar.
Yes, Siege of Orgrimmar was fun.
It wore out its welcome.
More playable than Pandaria? Yeah. Yes and no. There's certain aspects I really enjoy about the current state of WoW. I mean, I really enjoy a lot of the stuff that it comes with it. I do miss a lot of, like Kevin, I will actually agree, or with Navarre, I will actually agree with, Pandaria felt like it was the height of the classes to me. Like, I actually enjoyed my Priest. I have not enjoyed Priest at all in any expansion that's been out there, with the exception of Pandaria. I actually, at one point, wasn't I maining a Priest in Pandaria?
I think so, actually.
Yeah, I was actually maining a Priest at one point, which never has happened in any of them. So I guess, yes, I think it's playable, or more playable. I think there's aspects of it that I really enjoy, but there's also aspects of it I don't enjoy as much. So I guess that's, from what I've seen, I do like, and this is probably going to get a lot of hate, but LFR, I do enjoy LFR. I enjoy that is an option for me to be able to see that storyline without having to get a group together of 10 to 30 people. So it is nice to be able to click a button and go into LFR, have an easy mode, see the story, and get out. For those people who are
non-raiders,
less non-raiders, yeah. So it's kind of nice for that. So I do think there are aspects of it that are more playable. Yeah. But I guess what it always boils down to is what do you enjoy with the game, and that's what you got to find in the game and what you'll make enjoyable.
So my opinion of it is kind of twofold. I think that the game has never been more accessible than it is now. The new starting zone, Exile's Reach, is a phenomenal example of what World of Warcraft could be. And honestly, I would love to see the team, honestly, and once again, probably going to get some hate for saying this, I would love it if the team just said, okay, Shadowlands is going to be a 2-patch expansion, kind of like Warlords of Draenor was, because we're working on the next big thing. And the next big thing needs to be a return to Azeroth, but updated in the same way that Exile's Reach is. Because Exile's Reach is fun, it's engaging, and it doesn't feel like I'm wasting my time. Everything that I do in Exile's Reach feels like there's a purpose to it.
I completely agree. And going on the same vein of being more accessible, level cap 60. Doesn't take you very long to get to level cap anymore.
Exactly.
Versus it was 120. So having that huge cut in levels is really nice. Like, I took a Death Knight of mine from level 1 to 50, not doing any power leveling or anything like that, just leveling. I think I had like 11 hours playtime on him was all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was him sitting around for hours sometimes. So it was nice. I do agree with accessibility 100%. I think that it's a lot more accessible, which I think is good for an MMO. You're supposed to be reaching out to the masses. I also think there's things that should be more complex that probably aren't.
Well, yeah, I'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Redneck Girl has joined the stream. Thank you. They waved at us in chat, so welcome. Hope you're having a good one. So yeah, the game has never been more accessible in my opinion. And, you know, just to continue on with that vein of leveling, you get to just choose whatever expansion you want to level in, and you can experience as much of that as you can right up until you hit 60. I do wish that there was a little bit to it. Actually, I think it was Taliesin and Evitel. They had an idea where like they could make little simulations basically of some of the important raid bosses that are important to the stories. That way you could still see it. Because like right now, if you level through Wrath of the Lich King, you know, you ding 60, but you never really get to see what happens to the Lich King. You don't get that conclusion. So I feel like there's an opportunity there. Now,
ding to 50, by the way.
50, right. I'm sorry. Yes, you only ding to 50, and then you go to Shadowlands to finish off those last 10 levels. Now, when it comes to gameplay, it's kind of a mixed bag. WoW has really gotten heavy into these expansion by expansion systems. So, you know, this started in Warlords of Draenor with the garrisons. And then in Legion, we had the artifact weapons and the random class legendaries. And then
also the Order of Tables too.
Yeah, I just kind of mixed the artifacts with the Order Hall stuff, but yes, that is true. There was the whole Order Hall thing. And then in BFA, you had the Azerite armor and the Heart of Azeroth. And now in Shadowlands, you have the Covenants. So the reason why this is a mixed bag is because you're constantly getting this sense of loss every expansion. Like, it felt terrible moving from Legion to BFA because I lost my artifact weapon, and that was just so amazing. Like, it did so much for my character that moving on, I felt a terrible loss in player power. I will say I didn't feel that as much moving from Battle for Azeroth into Shadowlands, but you're still just constantly having to acclimate to a new system, and a lot of the times the systems are really hit or miss. Like artifact weapons, they had a lot of problems on release, I won't lie. Like, I'm not going to look back at Legion and go, oh man, it was the greatest expansion ever from start to finish, but they kind of caught on and fixed it so that way it wasn't that bad. Azerite armor was trash. It was garbage from start to finish, and Heart of Azeroth powers did not help. And then the class Covenant system, like Denmar and I were kind of talking to earlier, it just feels like you're often pigeonholed into picking a power rather than picking a Covenant that you would actually want to ally with, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, would I say WoW is more playable? Overall, yes. But you, kind of back to what Denmar was saying, you have to find the fun in it. If you really enjoy PvP, I mean, right, I don't think that there's ever been a better time to be a PvPer, honestly.
Oh, no, like, the PvP system right now is really good.
Right.
Like, I was having fun when we were running it the other day, other than being really low geared going against higher geared people. That's never fun.
Yeah. You know, if you like the instance content, if you like, I think they're finally moving on from the classic stuff. Let me, mute the music. If you like the instance content, if you like raiding, it's still good. I mean, Blizzard is typically really good about their raids and their dungeons. I think a lot of the dungeons in this expansion are really good. There's some that are a slog, and I despise them, and I hope that they burn. But other than that, Siege sucked the fun out, left me a husk. Siege did definitely overstay its welcome. I feel that way a lot about the end of expansion raids. It doesn't really matter about Siege or like Antorus at the end of Legion, or Oh god, what was the one for... Oh, the N'Zoth raid in Battle for Azeroth. Like, you know, they all last too long. Because, you know, all raids just last too long. It's, in my opinion. Like, I know that there's a lot of people who need to...
About bloody time.
I love this commercial. All the raids go too long, and it's mainly because, you know, there's still people who are clearing them, so it's understandable. But for me, you know, I would much rather we just jump into the next thing quicker.
Was that a potato?
It was.
So I haven't seen this one, sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Shadowlands.
But yeah, going on what he said, end of expansion raids are some of the worst because they drag on forever.
They do.
It's I mean,
so
BFA
excited
is
to be
a perfect
here with
example.
all of
I
you
actually
to celebrate
left BFA.
30 years of epic
Here we go.
entertainment experiences from
Right?
Blizzard.
Here we go.
And of course, out of all of those, the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart is the World of Warcraft expansion, Shadowlands. And that's what we're here today to talk about.
Yeah, you just stabbed my Covenant leader, so I kind of need answers
The course
here.
of last year was unforgettable for all sorts of reasons. But it's also something that really has taught the team, taught all of us, a lot of lessons about World of Warcraft.
But as far
how
as
we can make
playability
the
goes,
game
yeah,
better
screw them
for
all.
all of you
The maw needs to be removed from the
Because
game
Shadowlands
entirely.
wasn't just the product of our development team's efforts last year. It was a product of your efforts as well. It was the product of a conversation between us, the development team, and all of you, the players, the community who inhabit this world that we're the custodians of. The beta for Shadowlands started earlier than any beta for a past expansion that I can recall. And over the course of last year, we had tons of folks in our beta giving us feedback, reporting bugs. But we also had even more people just in the community in general, following developments, following updates, watching YouTube videos, chiming in on Reddit threads, on our forums, on social media, everywhere else, letting us know what was exciting, what was concerning, what you didn't understand, what you were worried about, what you were happy about, and more.
But you still didn't pull the
And
ripcord
all
in.
of that helped shape Shadowlands, and I could not be more proud of where we ended up. And it's been amazing seeing everyone jumping into this new world that we've crafted together and having an amazing time over the last couple of months. That's a conversation, that's a process that I would like to carry forward into 2021, and for that to be a baseline for how we build World of Warcraft going forward. So as we're here today talking about the next major update, what you're going to hear about shortly is where we're headed in terms of the world, in terms of the story, in terms of these epic characters we've just been introduced to, major villains like the Jailer and Sylvanas, and what's up with Anduin anyway. But we're going to talk a bit less, however,
He's
about
the Lich King.
systems. We have tons to share there.
He's got
but
Shalamorn.
The way we need to work on our systems, as we've learned, is, of course, by first seeing how they're playing out in your hands. We couldn't really plan what we were going to do with legendaries or where Torghast was going to go or what was going to change about soulbinds without having the experience of millions of players dealing with those systems and letting us know what you think. And so I am
Covenant
pleased
rework?
and excited to say that when we look at our systems, unlike in some past expansions at this point, we're not seeing anything that needs to be completely overhauled or replaced. What we see are solid foundations that are in many cases in need of iteration, and upon which we can build a structure that will sustain us.
I don't think I'm
going
gonna
to
like what he says.
Shadowlands to come. So that's a
I don't think
conversation
so
that's
either.
going to come when our public test realm goes live, and we'll have lots more information to share with you there. Now, what we are going to talk about, and boy do we have a lot of exciting stuff for you, is the first major content update for Shadowlands.
Right.
Let me turn it over to my colleague, Jeremy Fiesel, who can tell you all about it.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeremy Fiesel. I
Hi,
am a
Jeremy
designer
Fiesel.
on WoW, and it is my pleasure to get to introduce to you today a first look at what's next for World of Warcraft Shadowlands.
Awesome.
There we go, Venthyr music.
So let's
I do love the
talk a little
Venthyr
bit
music.
about what we've accomplished so far. the champions of Azeroth have stepped
I'm like, I would like Revendreth a lot more if I could fly. That's all I can say.
For all souls
I'd like all the zones if I could fly.
And beyond.
You know, I haven't
Within
felt
the
it as
Shadowlands,
much
we have
in
many new
like
allies, and we've fought a ton of new and interesting
Ardenweald and Bastion.
We've joined covenants,
Like I would
and
prefer
we've
to
gained
fly,
great
but it
power.
hasn't
And
been
in this
that
time,
bad.
we have been able to
Revendreth
deal
just has way
with
too
some
much
of the
verticality
immediate
between
threats
each of its
to our
different
new covenant
sections, though.
allies. We have taken
Yeah,
down
you just gotta
the
find all
Gorn
those
and the
lifts and
Drusk and
be
Ardenweald
Revendreth where I have the
and
free
Forsworn
teleporting mirrors.
and
Yeah,
Bastion,
well,
and
poo on you and your
ultimately,
mirrors.
We've been able to add some stability back to each of our new allies' home zones. Within the Shadowlands, we have also been able to help out many of the denizens that are undergoing this major lack of anima by sending anima back out into the world,
Yeah.
reinvigorating both our allies as well as the military forces of each of our covenants.
And you
so they
know,
can take
if
the
there's such
fight
an anima
back to
drought,
their
where are we
enemies.
getting all this anima
And
that we
as a
keep giving them?
culminating element to all of these things, we've been able to take out one of the jailer's main lieutenants, the traitorous Sire Denathrius in Castle Nathria. And yet, behind all of these things is the looming, dark and mysterious figure of the jailer. So what do we really know about the jailer's dark designs
Nothing.
up until this point? Well, we know that the jailer is in charge of the Maw, a dark and
do everything.
forbidden place that we can't spend even a moment too long in before getting unceremoniously swept out by the jailer's forces.
Yeah,
We know
thanks
that
for
the
that,
Maw
Blizzard.
has had this huge influx of souls, allowing the jailer to gain massive amounts of power, as well as anima, thanks to the actions of Sire Denathrius. This has allowed the Maw to grow in great proportion, something we've been able to physically see just by looking out past Oribos into the darkness. In addition, every time we have tried to step foot into the Maw, we've been watched unmercilessly by the eye of the jailer. We've never been able to get a solid foothold there. We have spent some time in Torghast, the Tower of the Damned, and we've rescued some very prominent souls. But again, we've never been able to get a solid and consistent foothold there and make any real progress.
So
The
are we
jailer
now?
remains
Is that where you're going
this
with this?
mystery of the Shadowlands, and exactly what his dark designs are for the afterlife are still unknown. This is the story we will be investigating in our first major content update for World of Warcraft Shadowlands, entitled Chains of Domination.
Yes. Okay.
Now you can imagine with a name like that,
Can we get
we're
some
going
more
to be
information?
very centered around the jailer's forces and his plans. What do him and his champion Sylvanas have in store for the rest of us? And how does this influence our allies in Ardenweald, in Bastion, and elsewhere? The jailer will make his first attacks, showing his hand, and will be forced to defend our brand new allies, as we see what the jailer's designs for the Shadowlands truly are. Let's take another look at that cinematic showing what fate has in store for Anduin
Okay.
in Chains of Domination.
I mean, thank you, I guess. All right.
Look around you.
Well, I won't turn this
What
down,
makes
but
you
it's
believe
like,
you're not just a weapon.
why are we seeing this again?
Enough.
Just in case, I guess you missed it during the opening ceremony.
I suppose.
Right now.
It's kind of important, right? It's
Yeah.
a big reveal.
I would rather hear more about what's coming in the patch. Like, the cinematic is cool, but Blizzard always does cool cinematics. It's part and package of, you
I
know...
want to see a Blizzard movie.
I would
Animated movie.
love to see Blizzard just be like, okay, hey, we're creating an animation studio now, and we're going to start churning out, you know, World of Warcraft movies and all this other crap. But then again, I would still actually like to see a sequel to the Warcraft movie, and yeah.
Yeah. See where they were planning on going with that story, since it's slightly deviated.
Right. Now, here's my question. As soon as we escape the Maw, the people in Oribos can sense the touch of the Maw upon us. They can also sense it on all the Death Knights. And even Uther here, like, you know, he seems to have a reaction from, you know, the Maw weapon of Frostmourne wound. how is it that no one in Bastion could sense the touch of the Maw? Or I guess they just assumed it's because he escaped. That's got to be it.
That's true, because he did escape.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out, like, how could they not sense all the, like, Maw energy coming off of him? But yeah, I guess if you just assume that he was,
That prison could not
And then she
hold
calls
me
him out that
forever.
he felt captive in the Maw, so she obviously knows he comes from the Maw.
You have a key that I need.
oh, angsty Anduin.
Will release this soul from your grasp.
No. He is bound to me.
Just as you once sought to bind your own brother.
So, remember what they said though. Anduin's not a paladin.
He's still a priest in his plate armor. I want to be a plate armor wearing priest.
And now he obviously isn't a Death Knight with the Rune Blade and Skull plate armor. He's going to be a Death Priest.
Not just a rune blade. That's a Morn blade. Yep. Let's see. There's the jailer reasserting his dominance. Now, see, this next part actually does bring up a question for me.
Its part flawlessly. 3 keys remain.
So he drags the Kyrian symbol out of the Mornblade, and then he says,
See, look at her face right there. She was regretting something.
right. No, Sylvanas definitely has doubts. But no, when he pulls the Kyrian symbol out, he says 3 keys remain, which obviously is a call to each of the covenants.
We're not going to take a strike like
But
that sitting down.
Sire
We're going to
Denathrius was
call in
already
the
on his
forces of
side.
all 4 of the Shadowlands covenants for the first time in years.
So-
We'll all come together.
That's what I'm
Now
wondering. It's like, does
reinvigorated
Renethal have the
Anima,
key?
And by our
Bah.
actions within the Shadowlands,
All right.
to take the fight directly to the jailer. Within the Maw, we will uncover brand new, never-before-seen areas. We'll also be fighting off some new and never-before-seen enemies, of course, and naturally be
Rewards,
uncovering some brand new Maw-themed rewards while we're
Okay,
at it.
well, Maw-themed
Our
rewards
return
doesn't
to the
sound
Maw
terrible.
includes not only a chance for us to push back against the dark designs of the jailer in areas that previously were very forbidding for us, where we really weren't able to spend very much time there. Having a secure, solid foothold with all 4 covenants allows us to push back against that oppressive force. We'll be able to stop the Eye of the Jailer in its tracks, exploring areas that we were unable to explore
Stop the Eye of the
before.
Jailer? What?
And our mounts will once again even hear our call within the Maw.
Oh,
The
thank-
Maw will not only
Oh my
include
God.
some areas that we have seen previously.
It's
now
about
with our
time.
new allies of the covenants changing things up there, but also some never before seen sections. Let's talk for a second about the largest of those sections. So in the finale of that cinematic, you saw that the jailer had sent his chains off out of the Maw and into the darkness. What he found there, that landmass shown there at the very end of that cinematic, is a landmass known as Korthia, and it makes up
Korthia.
the largest new section of the Maw. Korthia
Huh.
is an ancient space that was lost in the in-between. It has its own strange creatures and wildlife that inhabit it, but it's also inhabited by some of the characters that we've previously seen in Oribos, including the attendants and the protectors, and some of their city structures. And very similar to Oribos,
Okay.
it is filled with mysteries, the likes of which the Shadowlands has yet to uncover. It is these ancient mysteries that the jailer is truly after, the secrets of this strange group that we've only barely hinted at, known as the First Ones. Heading back into this area will allow us to explore all of these new sections, entertain new content, meet new allies, and face off against new foes. And in addition, we will also see some brand new rewards. Some of the new rewards we'll find within the Maw
we gonna talk about it?
include this Maw-themed undead horse and a Maw hand mount that is actually a giant severed hand of domination that you'll ride
Okay,
on
I
the
like
wrist
those.
section of in a really creepy and cool manner.
Those are
And
really
of course,
cool.
there will be Maw-themed battle pets to collect as well, including your very own minion of domination. But our true purpose within the
That hand mount is
not
badass.
just to collect battle pets.
Yes, it
That's
is.
just a part of it. The true purpose of bringing all 4 of the covenants together
Is to
within the
share
Maw
covenant
is
abilities?
The true purpose.
Is to be taking the attack.
The true purpose is to
directly
collect
the
battle
jailer's
pets. I'm sorry.
doorstep.
Right.
The central area where the jailer has holed up with all of his main minions is going to be our focus here as we raid the Sanctum of Domination.
Ooh.
The Sanctum of Domination will be
Yay,
a
we'll finally
10
get
boss raid,
beat
and you'll
Sylvanas,
finally
maybe,
be able to
again.
face off
Sylvanas,
against the
Kel'Thuzad.
terrible Terragru.
The
that I'm sure has
Terragru.
kicked you out of Torghast more times than you want to mention at this point.
No, actually,
You'll be
I've
able to
only
take
seen the
all of your
Terragru
allies and
once.
take the fight directly back to it.
I hate you. I've seen
We'll
that guy
also be
like so many
facing off
times.
Really?
against the creature that is the
Yeah.
actual eye of the
I think
jailer.
I've seen like 4 or
and
5
figure
times,
out
and that's enough.
Really, what is the jailer's eye here? Those of you
Huh.
that were fans
So we will
of
be
the lore
fighting
of
the eye of the
Timekeeper Odin
jailer.
might have some interest in that particular fight.
Oh,
The jailer's
right.
inner sanctum,
Odin. I
naturally,
forgot.
is a place where some of the worst souls were sent for the jailer's personal torment. And we'll be seeing some of those souls here as well.
The worst of
really
the
looking
worst
forward
souls.
to hearing who you think
Garrosh.
will show up in the jailer's
Well, Garrosh is in
personal
Revendreth.
torment sanctum. Of course,
No,
any raid
you know
that
where he
features
belongs. Don't give me that.
minions,
Yeah,
servants,
he
and
belongs
soldiers
in
of the
like
Cold Dark,
Bastion
like
because
this
he
one,
did nothing
is
wrong.
going to have to feature our old nemesis, Kel'Thuzad. And finally, the culmination of the raid. At long last, we will be taking the fight directly to Sylvanas Windrunner, the Banshee Queen herself.
Uh-huh.
The finale of this fight is going to change
But I thought she was
the
never
future
going
of
to
the
be a boss
Shadowlands.
again.
But we're not going to spoil that for you today. However, can't wait for you to see what happens at
Okay.
the end.
I mean,
But the Sanctum of Domination
interesting.
is not the only sanctum of the jailer. We'll be seeing additional updates to Torghast, the Tower of the Damned.
like what?
Including the unlocking of brand new, never-before-seen wings. These wings have a brand new art kit, as well as new floors and new floor layouts, and should feel like something you haven't seen in Torghast up until now. You'll be
I
facing off
hope.
against brand new foes.
Like, I want to
with
love
dastardly
Torghast, but it gets
ways in
old
order to
really
stop your
fast.
ascent. New traps to trip you up, and of course, to help us fight against all of
screw
these
your traps.
dastardly minions of the jailer, brand new game-changing powers will be available as well. Moving on to additional updates within Chains of Domination, fans of the Operation Mechagon Mega Dungeon.
I do hope
from
that
our
the new
previous
powers
patches
are
will be
more
happy to learn
spec-based
that
than
we are
just
once again
class-based.
bringing back the concept
Yeah.
of the Mega Dungeon. A Mega Dungeon is an 8-boss dungeon, epic in scale, and always has some
Broker
unique and
trading city,
interesting
okay.
loot that you can't find anywhere else. The Mega Dungeon for Chains of Domination is going to be focused around the enigmatic traders that we first met in Oribos, the Brokers. The Broker Mega Dungeon is a large broker trading city with portals, an auction house, and various different broker cartels that have made it their home.
Cool.
We're going to be learning more about broker culture and meeting some new and different kinds of brokers that we haven't seen up until now. This is an 8-boss dungeon, and in Chains of Domination will be available as Mythic only. For
Right.
now.
Right,
Within
that
the
makes
Broker
sense.
Mega Dungeon, we will be facing off against brand new broker cartel members, including dastardly broker assassins and 4-armed broker guards. The second half of the dungeon, as we start to exit the broker trading city, will feature a heist section. And you chase a broker
heist
who's stolen
section.
an artifact and plans to use it for his own purposes. As we chase this
Do I get to
broker
plan
through
the
heist
heist?
section, he'll take us
Yes.
through a number of different portals that take us to a lot of different, very varied locations where we fight a number of different bosses.
Okay.
One of these fights, of course, is against none other than an infinite pirate dragon.
What?
I trust that needs no explanation, so let's move on to the rewards.
Pirate
Include things that we will only see within broker culture.
Oh my God.
Some very special broker pets,
I love it.
including a
Oh my god, the infinite pirate dragon
we can
has to be a
capture some of
mount.
the
It
rats
has
that scurry
to.
around within the broker trading city, and we'll get to see one of the pets that the brokers actually use as a currency. These strange worms that they found on another world.
They
and
use
have
it as a
scintillating
currency?
eyes that are gem-like. It's
Oh.
sort of like a living sign of your wealth for the high ends of the broker cartels. You might be able to purchase one of those within the dungeon or fight an enemy in order to obtain one of them. And we'll be able to obtain the broker's special and interesting disc mount with a fly around their trading
disc
city.
mount.
In addition, there's going to be a
Looks like the
dazzling
mage
array
class
of different
mount.
weapons
Right.
for you to collect as well. Now let's move
Okay,
on
those
to
actually look cool.
updates to
I
some
love
of our
that sword.
covenant systems.
Yeah.
We've been fighting hard to gain renown with our covenants,
Covenant
gain
updates?
soulbinds, and additional conduits. We'll be expanding
Maybe?
upon a lot of these systems. Some of the ideas
See,
that we're
I'm
thinking
hoping.
about include adding additional conduits, different
No.
conduit types, and expanding the soulbind system.
No.
Our general
Christ,
goal
no.
here is to give you more options in terms of how you specialize your character within your covenant and how you gain additional power levels.
No.
We're very early on in the ideation phase here, and we'd love to hear from you. If you want to take to the forums and tell us how you would like to see your power grow within your covenant.
Let me switch my
Patch
covenant
9.1
ability.
also brings with it flying.
Oh,
Something we
thank
mentioned
God.
A while back, and we're sticking to it. There's no rep grind
Awesome.
associated with flying. You simply
Yes!
just need to
No
continue
rep grind.
completing activities for your covenant, and your covenant story chapters will unlock flying for you automatically. But we're not
Oh, it's
going to
be locked behind that. It's going to be locked behind
No, we
renown.
want to do everything heavily covenant.
I guess that's
because
not
it's all
bad,
about working
but
for your covenants.
I mean,
So
it is
completing
for
the flying
like
will also
someone like
unlock
me who
a
hasn't
new
really
specialized
grinded out that
flying
much
mode
renown yet.
specific to your covenant.
But the nice thing is
For the
that they give
Kyrians,
you catch-up renown like
activating anima
crazy.
to the Eternal Forge has allowed your
You say
stewards
so, I
to
haven't
once
really come
again
across any of
produce
it
this
myself.
powerful flying centurion that hasn't been seen in ages.
Flying center.
For
That
the
looks
Night Fae,
badass.
activating wild seeds with anima that were thought lost to the drought will reawaken our powerful
Look
ally
at that.
in the wolf serpent. From the Maldraxians,
I love it.
The Necrolords naturally go to their natural environment.
You want to be
Zap
Night
one of
Fae?
the giant corpse flies buzzing around their
Oh, that is-
backyard and
oh.
send that on into combat.
No, I'm
There's
good,
one
thank
thing
you.
that you do
You can
know,
keep your buzzy
they're not
boy.
going to be
Why?
afraid of the stench of death.
Why?
And for the
Why
Venthyr,
is it the Night Phase? Everything I
activating
want from my
anima
shaman.
within
Ah.
Revendreth has allowed us to empower these stoneborn brutes, giving us anima-infused stoneborn allies.
Oh,
as
look
our
at
brand new flying
those.
mounts. But that's
I
not
would
all.
love them.
Continuing
Those
to
actually
advance
aren't
your
bad.
covenant
Right.
and your renown will also
Doesn't match my
unlock a
shaman,
set of
but
cosmetic armor. Cosmetic armor sets can be worn by any armor type, from cloth to plate,
Uh-huh.
and they can be mixed and matched with any of your transmog outfits if you want to take just pieces of them, producing a variety of
Can they
different
be used
unique
by people who
outfit
aren't in the
possibilities.
covenant?
The cosmetic armor set
Right.
for the Kyrian is stylized after a Kyrian
Oh.
who might be rushing across
That
the fields
looks
of
awesome.
That is
Mississippi.
cool!
crap.
Holy
Quite
crap!
airy. For the Night Fae, your cosmetic outfit will be themed around the Forest Defenders
No,
and
I don't wanna
includes
see
many
this.
natural wildlife elements.
That's
including
okay. That's not
horns of
nearly
the
as cool
Great
as the
Stag, leaves,
Kyrian
and
one.
the
No,
various
the
flora
pants.
around
They're actual
Ardenweald.
pants. You
As
could
you can see, the
transmog
colors
on
here
anybody.
are actually themed after the
That's
seasons
true.
as well. For the Necrolords, we went all the way back to the Warcraft 3 initial idea of the Necromancer in this classically inspired Necromancer
Really?
set, updated with Necrolord colors.
I'm,
Everybody who's a Necrolord
I mean, it's
will
cool.
finally
You
get to
know,
also have a
I
little
can
bit
get on
of
board with that. I like
Necromancer
it.
in them
There's a
as well.
dagger in front of
And
it, too. That's
finally,
That's
for
true.
the Venthyr, no Venthyr transmog set would truly be complete without a set of finery just waiting for the
Oh.
next Venthyr fancy party to break out. Venthyr players will be able to obtain these fancy outfits for whenever you need to head off
I like-
to a ball. Chains of Domination will also herald the beginning
I do like.
of Shadowlands
I wish that the
Season 2, where we will be seeing the addition of a
Domination
brand new
themed
Domination-themed
affix?
affix for Mythic
Okay.
Plus, an item level increase across the board in terms
Honor
of
talent
available item
refresh,
levels
what?
that you can pick up by doing just about anything in the Shadowlands. We'll also be seeing the beginning of PvP Season 2, and something special in this PvP season that we're looking for is an honor talent refresh. The idea here is to take a look at some of our unused or underutilized honor talents
Oh,
and freshen them
okay.
up a bit.
Gotcha.
Change things
That
around
makes
in terms
sense.
of the PvP metagame. We'll also be seeing the introduction of seasonal rewards. These include both brand new colors of the Gladiator and Mythic Plus achievement mounts,
Ooh.
as well as our new Vicious mounts. In this case, the Vicious mount is the Gorm. The Gorm was already pretty vicious, so slapping a couple of pieces of armor on that
I'd much rather
and sending
have
them
the,
out into combat was
the
a
current
natural
vicious
thing for the
mounts.
forces of the Alliance and Horde to do.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a second to
Not that I'll
recap
get them, but
everything
yeah.
coming at you in Chains of Domination. First, we've got some major story quests, including a lot of the main characters of the Shadowlands that are centered most specifically around the designs and plans of the Jailer and his attacks on our allies in our covenants.
Yeah.
We will be taking revenge by taking the fight directly to the Jailer in the Maw and forming a permanent presence there with all 4 covenants. We'll be exploring some never-before-seen sections of the Maw, including this new area known as Korthia and its various mysteries. We will be taking the fights directly to the Jailer himself in the Sanctum of Domination raid, which has the final boss as Sylvanas Windrunner. And we'll be making updates to Torghast, including some never-before-seen wings, floors, creatures, and powers. We'll be introducing a new mega dungeon themed around the brokers as a floating broker trading city with new bosses to fight there and some very unique loot. We're going to be expanding upon the conduits
I
and
hate
soulbind
that dragon.
systems.
I love it.
I want to kill that dragon over and over and over again.
Oh my goodness, that is everything I've ever wanted. I am all about Infinite Pirate Dragon.
Flying mounts and Covenant-themed cosmetic armor sets, both of which will be available in a variety of different colors to collect. And finally,
I like
we'll be
that
seeing the
Kyrian
launch
one. I need to
of
level my
Shadowlands Season
Paladin
2.
now.
Right, that Kyrian one is so
Thanks everybody for checking out our Shadowlands
just juicy.
update.
That
We've got
is
a lot of
gonna
really
be
cool
great.
stories to tell still here in the Shadowlands, and we can't wait to get this content into your hands. From everybody on the World of Warcraft team, we hope you enjoy Chains of Domination, and we'll see you in the Shadowlands.
Will you? Are they watching us?
Yes, every moment you play, they watch you.
Oh no, that's spoopy, yo. Arthas Pepe.
He's adorable.
All right.
Dolby is a proud partner of Blizzcon Online. Watch Shop
Let's see
versus
here.
the world in Dolby
Making
Vision
of
and Dolby
Wandering
Atmos,
Ancient
only in
Mount.
the Dolby Access app.
I'm not super interested in that. So let's kind of rehash what we've just heard here. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna pause this. I mean, the Wandering Ancient Mount looks cool, but I don't really care how it was made. So what did you think, Den? Was that enough to keep your interest?
I mean, getting mounts in the Maw will be a godsend.
Right.
Being able to move around faster and get around more will definitely be nice in the Maw. Getting the Mega Dungeon, I can see that being a little bit better. I think that the introduction of flying is going to make it 100% better. The only thing they didn't answer with this is it account-wide?
Oh, that is a good point. Because all the rest of the time, flying has been an achievement unlock. But if it's now tied to your Covenant campaigns, it might be per character.
Yep.
Ooh.
So that is the only thing that I can see with this. I hope they don't go that route. I hope that they go with an account-wide one. I think it'll definitely make leveling for me a lot better if it's account-wide.
Right.
So it's enough for me to keep playing. I mean, it's kind of what I expected to see for it. It's unfortunately I knew that my one thing I wanted. They're so stuck on keeping the Covenant abilities together.
Right.
So I don't think you'll ever see those get unmarred. So I'm curious to see how they go forward with making the Covenant system a little bit more interactive and better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. The Covenants are still what I don't like about it. If I'm going to be bluntly honest about that, is once again we saw all these great cosmetic rewards,
Mm-hmm.
and in order, like you said, do you have to be part of those Covenants now to be able to wear those? Because if I go to my Paladin, get that Kyrian, can I now use the Kyrian one on one of my other characters?
Right.
Would it even be worth it now?
That
So,
is
I guess,
exactly the point.
Yeah, so, and that's, I don't know, I need more information when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a lot of it will be good. I do like seeing that they're expanding it, but once again, the same problem that I have of I chose a Covenant that I don't enjoy the aesthetic for my character because it was the best for him for gameplay.
Right.
Because of that, I am getting rewards in the game that I don't necessarily like.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had to choose Necrolord, I wasn't happy with any of those choices.
Right.
So, and I'm sure there's people out there that will be. I'm just not. So, it's just not. That's my problem with it. Is right there. Is that here's these great, pretty rewards, which we would all have chosen our Covenant just based off of probably pretty rewards,
Mm-hmm.
and not the flashy abilities that go with them. But
right,
that's mine.
No, I'm still 100% in agreement there. For me, it's not so much like what ability is best for my character, but it's always been about what ability am I going to have the most fun pressing. And that has very rarely, or I should say two of my characters did that match up, and that was my Paladin in Bastion and my Druid in Ardenweald. But my Warlock has no place being in Ardenweald at all. There is no reason for him to be allied with the Night Fae, but...
That is hilarious, though.
Right? But all the other abilities felt like garbage to play, so I ended up going with Soul Rot because it at least, had some functionality for me. And then, like I said, my Demon Hunter is off in Venthyr, which, once again, it's not the worst Covenant form, but it's not fun for me to press, but I wanted the Venthyr aesthetic this time. So I've basically done the opposite now, and I've traded fun gameplay to try and at least get some of the cosmetic stuff I wanted. And I mean, yeah, I get that choice is important in an MMO, and that's kind of like, that was their rallying cry for this Covenant system is, oh, choice, decisions have to matter. But this is the wrong decision to matter. Like, this is not where you wanted to put that firm choice in. So, I don't know. It sounds like they're doing a lot of work on the Covenants. I'll personally be going to the forums and pitching, once again, the idea, hey, if the Covenants are united and are all working together to fight the Jailer, maybe, just maybe, we can, have a Covenant emissary in the Maw who we go and talk to and says, oh, wow, you've really helped us out a lot, random Paladin. Would you like to use our ability instead of Divine Toll? And I can go, sure would.
Especially since my character is exalted with that faction.
Right? And maybe even, it's fine if you don't get the secondary ability. Like, the Soul Shape, or the Steward, the Door of Shadows, that kind of stuff. Like, if we don't get that portion, or we can't change that portion, if that has to be locked to Covenants, that's fine. But the class abilities should be able to be swapped out, especially for if you're doing different forms of content. Redneck Girl says it should matter based off story and rewards, not so much on the abilities to me. And yeah, that's exactly what we're saying, is you should get to choose your Covenant based on where you feel your character would go, what, armor sets, what mounts you want, that sort of thing, not based off of what ability sims the best or what ability is the most fun to play.
Yeah, it goes back to something we were talking about earlier, was if I want to do, we'll use my Shaman as an example. If I want to go Resto Shaman and I want to go into a Mythic Plus, there is a better Covenant than what I'm probably using. If I remember right, the Necrolord was one of the ones that was actually really good for that. And then Venthyr was good, and the reason why I chose Venthyr is because it was good all around. It wasn't great in any of them, it was just good.
Right.
Because I was planning on playing Enhancement, I'm planning on playing my Resto Shaman in Mythic Plus and Raids, and I'm also planning on maybe even dipping into Elemental.
Right.
Stupid E-names. So I was planning on dipping into Elemental eventually, so that way, and it was the only one that was good across all the board. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to choose that one. It's not the greatest. It's fun to press. I mean, I get this cool beam of like red that hits everybody and does really good damage and healing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun to be able to save people in the niche. But at the same time, I think the more fun ability would have been the Kyrian. Like, to me, I like placing down a new totem. I love that totem. I want that totem to be part of my class.
Well, and here's the thing. Jeremy Fiesel was just on there telling us about how they want us to have more ways to customize our characters. And they're trying to do that through adding new soul binds and conduits and stuff. But wouldn't the ultimate way to be able to customize our character be letting us choose the ability that we actually want to play with? Just food for thought. Redneck Girl says also Haya Ashtu.
Hello, Redneck Girl.
So, yeah. So for me, I gotta say, I did not expect much when they mentioned new Covenant armors, and I was blown away by most of them.
Yep.
I'll admit the Necrolord one really doesn't do it for me, but I did like the Revendreth one, and I loved the Bastion one.
Oh, the Bastion one looks so good. I
Right.
liked the Revendreth one. The Necrolord one, I can see where it can be a really niche population that will really enjoy it. Those who want to seem like the Necromancer Warlocky types. It would fit really well. The only thing I liked about the Ardenweald, and this is going to be really weird, is the pants. I like that they were somewhat normal looking pants that you could transmog with everything.
Yeah.
It's always one thing I hate about running around with my warrior or my death knight is that sometimes I just want my character to look like a normal Joe Schmo guy if I want to be wearing my armor. So, that'd be nice to have some regular pants that you can transmog.
Yeah, I agree. The Mega Dungeon sounds interesting. I'm not super excited about it, aside from the infinite pirate dragon boss that will just never ever leave my soul. But I did Operation Mechagon when it first came out in Battle for Azeroth, and it's one of those things where it's fun the first time, and then you're just kind of like, okay, well, I guess I still need this specific piece of gear, so I'm gonna go run it again maybe a few times. I'm interested to see what happens with Torghast, mainly in relation to the new powers. I don't think that the new floor types and the new enemies are going to make that big of a difference. I think that when it comes down to it, Torghast is still just going to be a Zerg rush to get it done.
Yeah, just to get your weekly soul ash and then you're out.
Right. Did you notice that they didn't mention anything about new Torghast rewards?
Nope.
Yeah, I find that kind of distressing, because if we're still just going after soul ash, I literally have no use for soul ash at this point. I'm assuming that our legendaries will probably be able to be upgraded to a higher level, but
well, they're gonna have to as they raise the item level overall. They're gonna want to raise that legendary up. So I imagine the same thing.
Right. But even so, Torghast needs more. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything super big. I don't want a Soul Ash 2.0, but Torghast needs a reason for it to be ran. And then, the Twisting Corridors is still a huge mess. Work needs to be done on that just from the ground up.
I mean,
I
guess I'm on a different mind on that one than you about the Torghast needs to have something more to run. I would have been happy with the original beta thing we got for Torghast, where it was infinite run just to see how far you could go for the funds of it, maybe some non-combat rewards. Maybe some, once again, transmog sets, some paddle pets, some just nothing that has to do with gear.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want gear from Torghast. I'll be honest, the most I would want to see as far as gear in Torghast goes is maybe some kind of new equipment token that you can use to gear alts. That would be the most I would want to see, especially if they gave you the appearances for transmog of some of the legendary pieces.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't want to get gear from Torghast, but I need, as dumb as it sounds, I need a carrot at the end of that stick. I love Torghast, and I too would love to see the original beta version of Torghast be released, where it's just hey, how far can you go? But we don't have that right now. What we have is, run 6 floors to get your soul ash, and then Twisting Corridors, which is hey, run these hour to 2 hour long floors. There's 8 of them. And then once you're done, you get a mount and there's no reason to ever go back. So I need to see more there. I'll be honest, I'm not super interested in this new Maw storyline other than to see what goes on with Sylvanas. Like,
yeah,
I don't really care about what's going on with the Maw. The jailer, he still doesn't seem like much of a villain to me. Like, I know that he's done a crap ton of evil, but it's still not like it was with Arthas, where, you know, there was just this constant presence and you could see that he was doing all of this stuff and he was always involved in each of the zones. With the jailer, it's like, unless you're in the Maw, he just doesn't matter. So, I don't know, maybe this patch will help with that, but yeah, I'm not super excited for Cortheus or whatever's going to go down in the Maw, except for being able to use all of my stupid mounts in the Maw. I still want Blizzard. Yes. I need Ian and all the developers to look me in the eye and tell me why my motorcycle ignores my call in the Maw. It's a motorcycle. It has no sentience. And if it does have sentience, it needs to start helping me out in combat a little.
Hear it rev up behind you and then tires smack someone.
Exactly. But all right, well, I think that's just about it. Do you have any parting words, Den?
I do not. You know, everyone be safe and have fun and enjoy the games you play.
All right, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us for the stream. I hope you enjoyed this little slice of BlizzCon. Not as great as it would be being there in person, but hopefully we'll get to see this, you know, this year we'll get a 2021 BlizzCon. But thank you so much for watching. If you're over on YouTube, if you'd like, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'll probably be doing a little bit more WoW content over there. And, you know, if you're on Twitch, you can subscribe there, or follow me. You can't subscribe yet, but you can follow me over on Twitch and see me whenever I go live on stream. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.